Wildcats, a slick fielding shortstop and a great leadoff man. Last night, singled in a run, I think, and uncharacteristically got out a couple times. Last year, he hit over 500 for the Wildcats, and he stands in. We're about to have baseball for you here from Anderson County High School. And here's the first pitch of the game. It's high and outside, 1 ball and no strikes. Ben, it's a beautiful day for baseball, a little bit chilly. The wind is blowing. We'll talk more about that as that pitch stays up high and outside. 2 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, pretty chilly up here, David, but a great day for baseball. The sun's out, a little bit of cloud coverage, which brings that wind in just a little bit cooler than it should be, but that ball goes in for ball 3.
Aiden Bond behind in the count has been said 3-0. That pitch is a called strike on the outside half of the plate. Our broadcast location here at Anderson County isn't the best, honestly, as that pitch is high, and that's a good start for the Wildcats. That's a leadoff walk. Down to first will go the all-time leading base stealer in Oak Ridge High School history. That would be Mr. Caden Black, the junior. Stepping in now will be, for the Wildcats, a senior player, Jacob Franklin. I think Jacob gets the start today. I wasn't able to hear what Jacob does start today. He's a good hitter. Primarily a pitcher and catcher a year ago, had some arm issues, had some surgery during the offseason. First pitch to him is a called strike at the knees on the inside half of the plate, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. Ben, I would expect Caden to go here on this pitch. That's one thing that Coach Free likes to do. He likes to put pressure on the defense, and I would expect him to go here, and I think Anderson County thought so as well.
Basically guarantee with Caden is that he'll get that lead, and then once he gets that lead, he's going to second at any time. And it's not even just second. It's right here he's running. He gets down for the slide, and he's in safely at second. So another stolen base for Caden. I mean,
it's almost guaranteed. If he gets on first base, he's going to be on second within 2 pitches. I mean, that's just the way it is. Like I said, he is has the stolen base record for the Oak Ridge Wildcats, and he's in scoring position. We've got a 1 ball, 1 strike count on Jacob Franklin. Bond checks the runner Black. The second baseman sneaks in behind. The pitch to the plate is on the outside corner at the knees. And Jacob falls behind here. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, he just tries here to keep on going with it.
Transfer Eddie Tan on deck for the Wildcats. Bond checks Black at second. The 1-2 pitch hit in the air, center field. Back for it will go the center fielder. Tagging at second is Caden Black. He does tag, and he'll move on to third, and he'll be there with 1 out. And the batter will be, as I mentioned, the designated hitter, and that is Eddie Tan. Tan, for the Wildcats, is, like I said, is a transfer from Hardin Valley Academy. Played there the first 3 years along with the on-deck man Tyler Pickens. We'll talk more about him during the course of the broadcast. Runner at third, the pitch, cut on and missed. No balls and 1 strike to Eddie Tan. Right-handed hitter. And the 1-2 pitch, that's high. And that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Wildcats of Oak Ridge and the Anderson County Mavericks. Anderson County, obviously, newer school than Oak Ridge. A lot of history in baseball, though, as that pitch is high and inside to Eddie. 2 balls and 1 strike. Working on the sound issues here. We'll get those straightened out for you here in a bit. 2 balls and 1 strike. Black takes his lead off of third. The pitch to the plate, hit on the ground to the shortstop. It goes past him into center field, and that'll be an error, and a run scores for the Wildcats as Black comes in, and it's 1-0 Wildcats.
Great position right there, and just got through the glove right there for an error, and finishes right there with a run.
Ben's still working on the sound issues here. I know we've got it on the camera, I would assume. Here's Tyler Pickens. Tyler last night drove in a run and pitched a combined no-hitter with Alex Franklin. Between the two of them, they struck out 11 Mavericks. Did a good job on the hill and at the plate. Runner in, the pitch to him is outside and high, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Pickens looks at the sign. He's also a transfer from Hardin Valley Academy. Played football, had a great year in football for the Wildcats. Pitch is down low, a ball, and it's now 2 balls and no strikes. Are you keeping up with your bookkeeping over there, Ben? There's so much to do here at a baseball game.
Baseball in my first game, but I'm still trying to keep up here.
Runner at first, average speed. That's Eddie Tan. He draws a throw over to first, and easily he'd only taken about a half a step off the bag at first. 1-0 Wildcats. We're in the top of the first inning here on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Wildcats and Mavericks. Another throw over to first, and Eddie is back. If you're in the major leagues, Ben, that would be it. He can't throw over there again. That's the new rule being applied by Major League Baseball this year. You can't throw over to first that many times. That pitch is down low, and it's 3 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, and talking about rules, another rule for MLB is as you see, this pitcher is taking a lot of time on the mound. They can't do that in MLB baseball.
Eddie takes his lead off of first, and the 3-0 pitch. That's up high, ball 4. So the Wildcats' first 3 batters have reached base safely. And now the batter will be the center fielder, Richie Ferreira. He is a freshman member of the Wildcats. Had a good night last night, singled in a couple of runs. Sophomore, sorry. Caleb corrected me on that. He's a left-handed hitter. Stands in. Runners at first and second for the Wildcats. 1 in here in the top of the first inning. Bond comes to the plate, hit well into left center field. That's going to dive in for a hit. Rounding third and coming in to score is Eddie Tan. Here comes Tyler Pickens. He'll stroll into third, and down at second with an RBI double is Richie Ferreira. So a great start for the Wildcats. They lead it now 2-0.
Yeah, David, and I saw it last night in another RBI hit for Richie last night, and he's doing it again tonight, starting off strong with a couple runs right here for the Wildcats.
Next up for the Wildcats will be a freshman, for sure a freshman. We've got Mikey Teasley stepping in. He is playing third base for the Wildcats. A couple runners in scoring position for the Wildcats. 2 in here in the first inning against the Mavericks. The pitch. There's a called strike right at the knees, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. Caleb Brucker doing our camera work here. We're on our internet channel, Prep Radio. Appreciate you listening to our broadcast today and watching it. A beautiful day, but cold. Here's the pitch to Mikey, hit on the ground. That's going to go past the shortstop. Another run scores. Here comes the third run, and in to score will be Richie Ferreira, and the Wildcats have put 4 on the board here in the first inning, and they lead Anderson County 4-0. And they're still, to this point, the Wildcats have just done everything right here to this point. The only out in the game is Jacob Franklin.
Yeah, David, great hitting right now for the Wildcats. They just continue to execute really well.
Right fielder Cam Welch is the batter now. He's another lefty. He takes a strike right at the knees. No balls and 1 strike. Pitcher for the Mavericks is Aiden Bond. He's the pitcher for them. And so far, he really hasn't had the best support. A couple balls hit Ben to the shortstop. Might have been fielded, but he wasn't able to get them, and the Wildcats have put 4 on the board.
Yeah, unfortunately, David, some balls that went right through his glove, and then it's executed well by the Wildcats just getting there on base.
Teasley is the base runner at first. 4 runs in here in the top of the first inning. Bond throws over to first, and they got him. He's pretty close. I mean, that was a bang play at first. He almost picked him off there at first, and he did. I thought it was a great throw there. He had just taken too much of a lead off of first, and Mikey is picked off.
Yeah, unfortunate right there. A lot of aggressive leads for the Wildcats, and that's Coach Free's mantra for this team, and just unfortunate that Mikey gets picked off right there.
Here's the pitch to Cam. There's another called strike, and the count, I believe, is 0-2. Caleb Riker doing camera work. Ben George with me here. My name is David Cleary. Really, there's a swing and a miss, and that is out number 3, but a very productive top half of the first inning for the Wildcats. The Wildcats score 4 runs. The Wildcats don't strand anybody. The Wildcats head to the bottom of the first inning, leading Anderson County 4-0. And we'll be back to Anderson County in a moment. Welcome back once again to Anderson County High School. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge take a 4-0 lead over the Mavericks. It'll be Fletcher, Wilkerson, and Wilson, the scheduled three batters in the Anderson County lineup. Can't start any better than that, Ben. 4 runs in the first inning. A good start for the Wildcats.
Yeah, David, just great hitting for this Wildcats team as they executed, like I said before, really, really well with everything that they had. And right here, as they try and do the same things defensively, we saw last night they were able to do a lot of those things, including striking out. Of course, we don't have Tyler Pickens on the bump tonight. It's Jacob Franklin with the start, but still a great, really pitching staff for this Oak Ridge Wildcats team as they look to execute really, really well defensively.
Let's set the defense for the Wildcats at first base. We have Tyler Pickens. Second baseman is Jason Slay. The shortstop is Caden Black. Mikey Teasley is the third baseman for the Wildcats. Out in left field today is Izzy Mitchell. The center fielder for the Wildcats is Richie Ferreira, and Cam Welch is the right fielder. Kyron Welch is the catcher, and as Ben mentioned, Jacob Franklin is the starting pitcher. Jacob last year was, I guess, the number 2 pitcher. Logan Rosenberger was, I guess, the number 1 guy. And then they typically play in series, like they play a game on a Monday, play the same team on a Tuesday. Jacob usually was that Tuesday pitcher for the Wildcats. Has only lost 1 start last year, and that was a 1-0 loss, I believe, at Central. So he's a fine throwing right-hander. Comes from about 3/4. Doesn't throw particularly hard, but has some nasty stuff. And that first pitch is in there for a called strike to Fletcher. Comes from the sidearm, which is a little different. Coming off of some arm surgery, too, and hopefully that is not going to impede him. I know Coach Frias says that pitch is in there for a called strike, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. Coach Frias said, and he played a lot of catcher a year ago, but they probably want to save his arm because of that surgery, and he probably won't play a lot of catcher this year.
Yeah, David. Second to Bryson Parks, he was the starting catcher for the Wildcats last year. As that one's hit out into right. That one's driving, but it's going to be caught out there by the right fielder.
Cam Welch, he makes the play. Just a soft little fly ball. Was kind of slicing a little bit over towards the line. The wind was blowing pretty hard, actually. If you look at the American flag out in center field, it was blowing really kind of hard from left to right, and it kind of sliced a little bit, but Cam got a good beat on it.
Correct, and that's the thing that this Wildcats defense is just going to have to try and adjust to. Is this wind is really, really blowing. It was the same way last night at Bobby Hopkins, but this wind is going to be a deciding factor for some of the balls flying out in the outfield for this Wildcats team.
Number 2 hitter in their lineup is Reese Wilkerson. He'll be the shortstop for the Mavericks. 4-0 Oak Ridge. Bottom half of the second inning. Are you keeping up with the scoreboard there? Pitch is in there for a call strike. Ben has so many responsibilities today. He's keeping the book. He's making sure the audio is working. He's doing the color commentary. He's keeping Caleb warm by giving him some hot hands. And Caleb says, "Thank you, Ben." As here's the pitch. That one's way outside. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike to Reese Wilkerson.
I didn't make a scoreboard for this one.
You can probably do it as the game goes. Can you do it?
Yeah. I'll do it next half.
2 balls, 1 strike, the count. Jacob Franklin, the pitcher for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge wearing their all gray with Cardinal today. Here's the 2-1 pitch. That's down low a ball. And the count is 3 balls and 1 strike. We've got 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. Beautiful day as we've talked about, but as we have also talked about, it is windy and it is cold, especially for a baseball game. Typically, that's the way baseball goes. In the first few ball games, it's freezing cold, and then it's blazing hot at the end. Here's the 3-1 pitch. There's a called strike at the knees. We've got a full count, Ben.
Correct, David. And just back to the uniform, just a little bit of a BTS. Those are the newer uniforms for the Wildcats, the all grays this year. Is something that's a little bit new for the Wildcats to be able to wear. And they look really, really nice, as I told some of the players when we walked in.
Cut on a miss, and that's a swinging strikeout, and that is out number 2 here in the first. And, Ben, we're going to have to work on your mic, I've been told here. My mic is working, but your mic is not. So I'll let you work on that again. Poor old Ben. He's got so much going on. Gets his first opportunity to do a baseball game, and his microphone doesn't work. I can tell you this. I'll just talk for a while. People get tired of me talking all the time. But we've got 2 outs here in the bottom of the first inning in a 4-0 game. Jacob comes to the plate low and outside. Jacob is a senior. Played a lot of positions. He's played the infield. He's caught. As we mentioned, he's an outfielder. He also pitches for the Wildcats. 1 ball, no strikes the count. Hit on the ground. Jason Slay fields it on 2 hops, throws on to Tyler Pickens in time for out number 3. So we've played 1 complete inning of baseball here at Anderson County High School, and the Wildcats lead the Mavericks by a score of 4-0. And we'll be back to Anderson County on our first live stream of Oak Ridge High School baseball of the 2023 season. We'll be back in a moment. Should be. Welcome back once again to Anderson County High School. It's our first live stream of the year. We're working on Ben's mic. If not, we'll just share a mic. It's not the microphone itself, it's actually the software. As we work on the scoreboard here, hopefully we're still on the air. And there's a called strike in there to Kyron Welch. He is the catcher in today's game. He's a junior, I believe. Caleb, am I right there? I think. And that pitch is a ball. 1 ball, 1 strike the count. Were you able to figure it out there, Ben?
Currently right now, still trying to work on the software. It's in our app that does all of our streaming, and we're just still trying to figure out where our issues are.
Lady Wildcat assistant coach Todd Wright says, can't wait to hear your expert analysis, as that pitch is a ball, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike. Wildcats scored 4 in the first inning. They lead it 4-0 over the Mavericks. Bond in his second inning. He's a right-hander, and that pitch, I guess a little bit low. Man, look good from here. Might have been just a little bit low, and it's another walk here. So down to first, we'll go. I'm just trying to keep you up to date on the book here, Ben. I know you got a lot of things going, but we got a runner at first. We got a pinch runner in the ball game, a courtesy runner. That'll be Eli Baldwin coming into the ball game for the Wildcats, and he'll be running. I believe it's Eli. Looking, it is Eli for sure. And the batter now will be the number 9 hitter in the order, the second baseman for Oak Ridge. That'll be Jason Slay.
Walk for Jason Slay, or for Kyron Welch.
Yeah, Jason's the batter now. Stands in here. Wildcats put 4 on the board here in the first inning, trying to get more here. A good start to the second. Eli takes his lead. He's going to square to bunt, puts it down, back to the pitcher. He throws on to first, and down to second will go Eli. So a good sacrifice bunt there by the Wildcats, Jason Slay, and back to the top of the order we go to Caden Black. Last couple years, Caden has hit over 500 the last 2 years, which is incredible. Anybody who knows anything about baseball, you know, you're doing good if you get out 7 out of 10 times. He hit over 500 a year ago. As we mentioned, we talked about the stolen bases. He just does so many things well for the Wildcats, and still just a junior. And he takes one a little bit low, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. A very vocal dugout for the Wildcats. I can hear them up. We're up on a hill here broadcasting. It's hard to do a one-camera baseball, but we'll do our best here. 1 ball, no strikes to Caden. Pitch is way outside. And the Wildcats, Eli Baldwin's going to go down to third, and he is out. And I don't think so, but the Wildcats will argue the point there. The ball really didn't scoot far enough away, really, honestly, for I wouldn't have gone, honestly. But, from our vantage point, I know it's hard. We only have the one camera, whether we can see it was safe or not. But I can tell you right now, Coach Free is not happy at all, and he is warned by the home plate umpire. He missed it. I mean, he was safe. And he better watch it, or he might get tossed from the game here. You can hear him continue to yell here as that pitch is a called strike, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. I don't know if Caleb was able to get that. We don't have a great angle towards third base as that pitch is hit foul over towards the first base coaching box, and nicely fielded by the Wildcat assistant coach. And the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes to Caden Black.
Yeah, and David, as we just saw on that stolen base opportunity right there, that was a real miss by that umpire at home plate, and just really bad call. And Coach Free has every right, really, to be upset about it, because that was a major miss for this Wildcats team.
Here's the 3-2 pitch, cut on a miss, and Caden Black is out number 3. So the Wildcats get a base runner. They have him thrown out at third, questionably, but the Wildcats unable to score. We go to the bottom half of the second inning here at Anderson County High School, and the Wildcats lead it 4-0. And we'll be back to Anderson County in a moment. Welcome back once again to Anderson County High School. We go to the bottom half of the second inning here. The Wildcats on top, 4-0. I guess, Ben, we're just not going to get your mic going here. We'll go with the one mic operation here. Good start for the Wildcats. Got kind of ripped on a call a moment ago, but that's baseball.
Yeah, and it's just easy calls like that. Not really something that can hurt you right now as you're up 4, but just something that the Wildcats really wanted with the runner in scoring position right there. And now Jacob Franklin continues to try and do really good job defensively.
It'll be the number 4, 5, and 6 hitters in the Anderson County lineup. It'll be the it looks like Aiden Bond will lead things off for them, followed by, Strickland and Dylan Bond. That first pitch is a called strike, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. We're in the second inning here, 4-0. The Wildcats in the lead. Franklin, a senior, has the sign from Welch, working from the stretch, and the pitch. Bounce to the plate, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Got a nice turnout of fans here. It's kind of the way this field is set up here. A lot of people sit up on the hill. That's where we're broadcasting from. We have Tried to broadcast from other areas here. We just don't have a great picture of the entire field as that pitch is low and outside, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Got one working microphone. It might be the inputs on the camera. You might want to check that. 2 balls, 1 strike. Jacob Franklin has the sign from Welch. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Hit foul off on the left side and out of play, and the count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Ben, it might be on the controls on the other side of the camera, which you might want to look at here, making sure that that mic is turned on. We seldom go with two mics through the camera system here. Might have to use the mixer next time. 2-2 pitch, outside and low, and the count is full again. 3 balls and 2 strikes. When the Wildcats bat in the third, it'll be Franklin, Tan, and Pickens, the scheduled 3 hitters. And Coach Travis Free's lineup picked up his 100th career win last night in the win over Anderson County. 3-2 pitch, hit him. And down the first will go Bond, so they've got their first base runner of the night. And the batter now for them will be the number 5 hitter in their order. That'll be the center fielder, and that'll be Strickland. Number 19, his first name is Trent Strickland. So you might want to put a hit by pitch there. Right-handed hitter. Jacob throws a variety. He doesn't throw incredibly hard, but he has a lot of junk pitches. Gets a lot of movement, and that sidearm is hard to deal with. The ball is hit to Teasley. He's got it. Throws on to second for 1. Bounce to first is not in time. Ball scoots away a little bit, but a nice play by the third baseman, Mikey Teasley. Threw on to the second baseman, Jason Slay, covering at second, and that is out number 1. And reaching on a fielder's choice will be Strickland. The batter now will be the pitcher for them. Make sure I've got that right. Looking down here, yes, it'll be number 3 for them. That is Aiden Bond. I think I was mistakenly calling Aiden, or the pitcher, Alex Bond, Aiden. And this is indeed Aiden Bond, the batter. Aiden is the pitcher. Or Alex is the pitcher. I'll get it right here. Is your mic working now?
Mic test 1, 2, 3.
He's working on the mics. He still can't get it. Runner at first.
1, 2, 3.
Franklin comes to the plate, cut on a miss. On a pitch low and inside, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. 4-0 Wildcats. The Wildcats put 4 on the board in the first inning. They were held scoreless in the top half of the second inning. We're in the bottom now. Franklin checks the runner at first, being held on there by the first baseman, Tyler Pickens. And the 1-strike pitch, hit foul. Back to the screen, and Jacob way ahead in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. We're on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. We'll do several ball games this year. Kind of a random schedule. A couple of home games. Primarily, we'll do a lot of the away games because more people are able to come to the home ball games. No balls, 2 strikes. Runner at first. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Called strike 3. And he took it right at the knees and on the outside half of the plate, and that's 2 outs here in the second inning. And the batter now will be number 11, and that is Morgan Clark. Morgan is playing first base today for the Mavericks. Runner at first. That's a strikeout looking for out number 2. And a little delay here while Welch and Franklin talk it over. They play the help music there. I don't think Jacob needs a whole lot of help. He's only given up 1 base runner to this point, struck out the last guy. And we're down to the number 7 hitter in their lineup. As I mentioned, that'll be Clark. Morgan stands in as a right-handed hitter. The senior has the sign from his junior catcher, and the first pitch. The ball, throw down to second, and just in time, ball scoots away out of the glove of Jason Slay covering. They had him dead to rights there. He just couldn't hold on to it, slid into the tag, and the ball popped out, and they've got a runner in scoring position.
Yeah, unfortunate right there. But then he made up for it right there. Just a really not good fielding glove by Jason Slay, and right now they have a runner right there in scoring position.
2 outs, though. 1-0 pitch is a called strike, and that evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. So, Ben, what have you got going over here? You got the scoreboard going and the audio?
So neither one is working right now. Still trying to get some troubleshoots through some mic issues right now, but unfortunately we're not getting either one up at the moment as that ball gets away from Kyron Welch and a runner advances.
It's hard to do it while the game's going on, is it not? Yes, most definitely. So they do have a runner at third. There's 2 outs here. And with his delivery, sometimes he has a tendency to bounce it. And, if the catcher behind the plate's got to be very, very cognizant of where and just trying to block the plate, honestly. Runner at third, 2 outs, 2 balls and 1 strike the count. Pitch is hit foul and evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. The runner at third was the guy who reached on the fielder's choice, and that would be number 19, and that would be Strickland. He reached on a fielder's choice. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Jacob Franklin to the plate, hit into left field. That's a base hit, and that'll score a run. Wildcats lead is now 4-1. Just a solid base knock to left field, and the inability to make that play on the stolen base attempt comes back to hurt the Wildcats, and it's 4-1. The Wildcats have the lead here, and the batter now for them will be the left fielder for the Mavericks. That'll be number 15, and that'll be Mo White, another right-handed hitter. Nothing fancy, just a soft line drive to left field, and it's 4-1. Good lead at first for the base runner. Franklin comes to the plate. There's a called strike. The count is no balls and 1 strike. The one thing that's better about today's game, Ben, compared to last night's game, is we do have some sun. Last night it was extremely overcast. The wind was blowing hard, and I don't know. It was cold, and it's cold right now, but nothing like last night.
Yeah, at Bobby Hopkins last night, it was a large amount of wind gusts and very, very powerful winds, and overcast skies just don't really help when you're trying to go to a baseball game and try and enjoy it, because it was very, very cold last night at Bobby Hopkins.
The 0-1 pitch is fouled over towards the third base side, and Jacob Franklin ahead in the count now. No balls and 2 strikes. A walk, a stolen base, a base hit, and the Mavericks have their first run of the night. It's 4-1 Wildcats. Jacob way ahead in the count. No balls and 2 strikes. 2 outs. The pitch hit on the infield. Tyler Pickens will field it in fair territory, and he'll tag out the runner before he reaches first base for out number 3. So we have played 2 complete innings here at Anderson County High School. The Wildcat baseball team trying to go 2-0 on the season. They lead the Mavericks by a score of 4-1. And we'll be back on our YouTube stream here on our Prep Radio channel in a moment. Welcome back to Anderson County High School. The Wildcats on top 4-1 in the second baseball game of the season. My name is David Clary along with Ben George. We've got Caleb Riker here with us as well. We go to the third inning. The Wildcats will have Jacob Franklin, Eddie Tan, and Tyler Pickens, 2, 3, and 4 in the Wildcat lineup. Facing Bond, the pitch is high, and the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Typically, when we do our first broadcast of any sport, boy, he's working quickly. I'll talk to you in a minute, Ben. That pitch is high. Typically, when we do our first broadcast of any season, we have some technical issues, and we've had a little today, and he's working very fast. Here's the 3-0 pitch on the inside corner for a called strike, and Jacob was already headed down the first.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about when we were talking about those rules about MLB, as that one's fouled off by Jacob Franklin. They're dealing really quick. But, yeah, back to the technical difficulties. It's just something that we always seem to go through. We go through it with basketball, go through it now baseball, and just about every sport, as that's now a walk-over for Jacob Franklin.
And he'll head down the first. The Wildcats have had base runners in every inning. And Jacob will be replaced by a courtesy runner. Coming in to run for the Wildcats will be his brother, the junior Alex Franklin. So one Franklin replaces another. Alex pitched part of that no-hitter last night, a combined no-hitter. Wildcats won that game 5-1 at Bobby Hopkins. It was low scoring at first. I mean, it was 0-0 going into the fourth, I believe. Alex takes a big lead at first here as the batter stands in. That's Eddie Tan. What did Eddie do? I can't remember what he did the first time around. Reach base, I remember.
On that first opportunity for Eddie, as Alex gets back on to first base, that first opportunity for Eddie Tan, he got on the base by a fielder's choice.
So he's 0 for 1 officially in the ball game. The pitch is hit foul off to the right side. Caleb doesn't come to many baseball games. One thing I haven't warned him about is foul balls. One thing you've got to realize that the camera comes before your well-being here. So protect the camera first. Your teeth come second. No balls and 2 strikes. Throw over to first, and Alex is back safely. Nobody on, or actually one on. Nobody out, I should have said. The Wildcats on top 4-1 over the Mavericks. Right-handed hitter. Bond has the sign. The 2-strike pitch is down low. Alex is going. Here comes the throw. It's a good throw, and he is called safe this time. Well, that might have been the makeup call, Ben.
Yeah, that was definitely a makeup right there, David. Just it looked like the second baseman had already gotten that tag on his left arm when he was already before he even got onto the base. But right there, a great call by that second base umpire right there.
Pitch to Eddie is a little bit high, and the count is now even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Alex has a stolen base, and he'll take his lead off a second. He's in scoring position. That's one thing, and you mentioned this, Ben. It's one thing that Coach Free does. He gets those runners going. He puts some pressure on the defense and makes things happen as Eddie takes one high and outside. Got another full count.
Right here, and Eddie just trying to stay aggressive but also trying to be smart and just wait for this next pitch as it's getting ready to go in.
Eddie's got a little labrum problem as well, so he'll primarily be a designated hitter. He can play a little outfield. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Alex Franklin takes his lead off of second. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. That's high, ball 4, another walk here for the Wildcats. The Wildcats have had base runners all over the place in this game. They've scored 4 in the first inning, had a base runner picked off in the second, but now they've got runners at first and second, and looks like we're going to have a mound visit here. And Tyler Pickens, big bat for the Wildcats. The cleanup hitter will be standing in for the Wildcats. It's great to have Tyler on the team. He was kind of a guy that, just kind of wandered in to play football and really wasn't going to play football and just had a phenomenal year for the Wildcats.
Yeah, it was just a situation with Tyler was just a couple little, I wouldn't say missed opportunities at Arden Valley, but some things fell into place here at Oak Ridge for him, and he was planning on playing baseball regardless, but football for him was just not his main thing that he was going to try and do. But then eventually Coach Cummings and the football staff from last year ended up convincing him, and then he ended up joining the team. And what a year he had for himself on the football field.
Just look how big he is. Caleb, I know you played football. He's a big dude.
Yes, he is. And at practice, I remember it was on kickoff. I got my legs absolutely destroyed by his shoulder pads. It was one of the – I wouldn't put it up there with the pain of breaking my wrist, but it was painful, I'd say that.
Has a lot of emotion, brings a lot of fire to the Wildcats. Oak Ridge baseball, we've always had, pretty good baseball program, pretty, a little bit above average, not great baseball, but he brings some fire to it, which I think is good for this Wildcat team. And he stands in with opportunity here. Runners at first and second, nobody out. And the pitch to him is evidently just a little bit low, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Evidently a pretty small strike zone here. We've had a lot of walks here in the early going, just barely missing. Bond giving up a couple base runners here. Tyler Pickens trying to make him pay. 1 ball, no strikes. Down low, nice stop by the catcher and a pitch in the dirt. And the count is 2 balls and no strikes. Oak Ridge will play again on Thursday. It'll be a home ball game at Bobby Hopkins Field. They'll take on Coalfield. And don't laugh, Coalfield's good in baseball in their classification. Yeah, little schools like that tend to be pretty good. Here's the pitch to Tyler, and there's another ball. 3 balls and no strikes. Mr. Bond, and it's not James Bond, he is about to get himself into a royal mess.
Yeah, here with another walk, it seems to be, as it's getting ready to be, with already 2 already, and that one in there for strike 1.
Nobody out here. Wildcats have Alex Franklin at second base. Eddie Tan is your base runner at first for the Wildcats. Number 4 hitter Tyler Pickens takes another called strike. Nice pitch that time, just on the knees and the outside half of the plate. So now he's worked it full. Fell behind 3 balls and no strikes. Let's see if Tyler's swinging this time. Anything close, the big man will rip it, I assume. And here we go. Pitch is hit foul. Off to the right side, over towards the high school. It's a great setting here. I guess the only thing that's kind of detracts from the view here is the big Arby's sign that kind of pops up above center field down there. I see Sonic down there. Other than that, it's a beautiful view as that ball's hit right back to the pitcher. They've got 1 at third, and Tyler makes it down the first. So that's a fielder's choice. He hit it right back to the pitcher. And that is out number 1. So good play by the pitcher, and they almost got Tyler at first, but not in time. So that is a fielder's choice. Tyler reaches base safely, and the batter now will be Richie Ferreira. Richie had a double in the first inning, plated some runs for the Wildcats, had an RBI, 2 RBI single last night in the win over Anderson County. Be right-handed versus lefty as they fake the throw back to second, but Alex Franklin had not gotten far off the bag. No pitch count as yet to Ferreira. Mikey Teasley is on deck for Oak Ridge. And the pitch. Outside corner for a called strike, and the count is no balls and 1 strike.
And here we go with Mikey Teasley getting ready to get back in here as it's, well, Mikey Teasley on deck for the Wildcats, rather, and Richie Ferreira here and swings at that one, just trying to be aggressive once again. It's this Wildcats team, not really a guerrilla ball team, but plays aggressive when trying to hit the baseball.
Might have taken something off on that pitch because he swung really over it and threw it beforehand. Pitch to the plate is hit foul off to the left side and drifting out of play. No, it actually drops in play just inside the line. We were kind of obscured there. That ball was hit softly in the air to left field, and it dropped just inside the line. So that is a bloop single. The base runners had to kind of hold up, Ben, because I thought it was going to go foul, and I guess they did. It just dropped inside the line there.
Yeah, a really helpful thing from the wind right there is that ball just continued to sail and then hit right there in fair territory.
Bases loaded now for the Wildcats, and Mikey's the batter. Pitch to the plate is inside corner for a called strike. Mikey had a solid base hit, I believe, in the first inning. Ben, you might correct me there. I'm just trying to go on my memory. Bases loaded for the Wildcats. They lead 4-1 here. We're in the top of the third inning at Anderson County High School. The pitch to the freshman is hit foul off to the right side and out of play. And he's behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Just a moment ago, Ben, we had a gust of wind. That was frigid. I mean, it didn't stop. Here's the 0-2 pitch. Down low, that's a ball. Bases loaded for the Wildcats here. There's one out now. Mikey's the number 6 hitter in the lineup. He'll see some action on the hill for the Wildcats at some point, maybe in the Coalfield game. I don't know. I haven't asked Coach Free about it. Hoping to get a hit here now. Get that run back as that pitch is hit foul again. Off to the right side and out of play. On deck for the Wildcats, we've got Cam Welch. Cam is a freshman, I believe, and his brother is a junior, and they both are starters here in this lineup today. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Hit in the hole. That's a base hit. 1 run will score. Alex Franklin, actually, the Wildcats will get 2 in, and Oak Ridge has put 2 on the board. A solid hit for the freshman in the right field. Nothing fancy. He just put his bat out there where the pitch was and just poked it in the right field, and the Wildcats now lead at 6-1. Just a great job of hitting by the freshman.
Yeah, really, really solid, and you could hear it as it went off that bat and then just went over into right, as that was a great hit to drive in 2 runs for the Wildcats.
Here comes Cam Welch here. He was a strikeout victim back in the first inning. Wildcats now have runners on the corners. And 1 out, 2 runs in, 6-1, the Wildcats in the lead. As I mentioned, and Caleb gave me a little chuckle when I said they were playing Coalfield on Thursday. I think Coalfield was a state tournament team a year ago, honestly, in their classification. And they'll be at Bobby Hopkins Field. There'll be a junior varsity game after this one today. I don't believe we'll broadcast that ball game. It's too cold, for one thing. That Arby's sign is calling my name across there. Maybe not, but it is definitely what you see here out in center field. Let's see what Cam can do here. Runners on the corners. If we get any courtesy runners, Ben, help me out here, because sometimes they get some other guys in the ball game running. And I think we've got, Richie's still at third out there. Mikey, I guess, is at first. Here's the pitch. Hit into shallow center field. The shortstop back. He can't make the play. Another run will score, and the Wildcats now lead it by a score of 7-1. Just a little bloop hit over the shortstop's head. He's looking straight into the sun, and I don't know if that had anything to do with it. The ball just barely got to the outfield grass, and it dropped in, and it's 7-1.
Yeah, really difficult for this Anderson County team so far, just trying to find that baseball, and it's either been the wind or the sun, which it's been the elements for this Anderson County team to try and figure out and try and see how to get the ball. But unfortunately, and fortunately for the Wildcats, they've been able to contribute with some runs right here.
We're going to have a pitching change here. We're going to have a new pitcher for the Anderson County Mavericks. We are live here at Anderson County on this beautiful Tuesday, a cold day in East Tennessee, but we're glad you've tuned in wherever you might be watching. I know we've got family of our baseball team all over the country watching our broadcast today, and back in the good old Science City, the secret city, Oak Ridge, Tennessee. Wildcats on top, 7-1. We'll talk about this new pitcher when we come back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Anderson County High School here on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Got some watchers of our baseball game here today. We'll do a few more. I know for a fact we'll do a Campbell County game next week live from Campbell County. I can't remember if that's a Monday or a Tuesday ball game. For some reason I'm thinking it is Monday. Well, I'll check on that. Truex is a pinch hitter for the Wildcats here. He stands in with runners at first and second. The Wildcats have put 3 on the board here in the third, and Truett takes one down low, and the count is 1 ball and no strikes. Truett's been battling some injuries. He battled some injuries during football season as well for the Wildcats. Big guy, has some power, obviously. And I remember in the preseason last year, I think about every preseason ball game, he went deep, and he plays a little first for the Wildcats and a little DH work, and he'll pitch some for Oak Ridge. He's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Runners are going. The pitch is a called strike, and that's a double steal. The Wildcats will have them at second and third with 1 out. Easy double steal that time.
Yeah, easy, and you could just tell as that catcher went up that he wasn't ready for it, and neither was the pitcher as they advanced.
Truett ahead in the count, 2 balls and 1 strike. And the 2-1 pitch swung on and missed, and that evens the count at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Truett was a starter for the Oak Ridge football team a year ago. Pitcher working quickly. 2-2 pitch is down low, a ball. We've got another full count. Oak Ridge has Mikey Teasley down at third, wearing that number 3. Ben, a little trivia. When I played high school baseball, I was number 3. They say Truett couldn't hold up his swing, and that is a swinging strikeout. It was going to be ball 4, but he couldn't hold up his swing, and here comes Jason Slay to bat here in the number 9 hole. Would have been ball 4, but just couldn't hold up. Wildcats have runners at second and third. Wildcats. There's a ball, 1 ball, no strikes. Top of the order, Caden Black on deck for Oak Ridge. 7-1 Wildcats as they bat here in the third inning. The pitch to the plate is another ball down low. They don't want to face Caden Black with the bases loaded. As Jason Slay ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes. Ball 3. Just a little bit low, just a little bit below the knees. And Jason way ahead in the count, 3 balls and no strikes. Teasley takes his lead off of third base. Here's the pitch. Called strike. The inside half of the plate. And the count now is 3 balls and 1 strike. I like how these pitchers just get it and go. Maybe because it's cold. And I like that. 3-1 pitch hit hard to the second baseman. He fields it on 1 hop, throws on the first in time for out number 3. But the Wildcats have a very productive top half of the third inning. They played 3 runs, and they up their lead over the Anderson County Mavericks to 7-1. This is David Clary along with Ben George and Caleb Riker, and we will be back from Anderson County High School in a moment. Welcome back once again to Anderson County High School. We go to the bottom half of the third inning, 7-1. The Wildcats in the lead as we broadcast here on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Tell your friends and family that we are on with this baseball game. There might be some aunts and uncles out there that might want to watch our broadcast here. It's kind of better than sitting in the cold, that's for sure, because it is chilly. You know, here in about 2 weeks, though, we'll be complaining about how hot it is. That's just the way it is. As that pitch is hit in the air, right side, the right fielder, Welch is under it, and he should make the catch, and he does, if that's indeed him out there for out number 1. So, good start for Jacob Franklin here in the third inning.
Yeah, great start already for Jacob, and trying to continue to do the same things right here.
7-1 Wildcats, bottom of the third inning. Batter now for them. Let me get my trusty lineup here. Looks like number 12 standing in. That's Fletcher. He's the top of the order. Leadoff man for the Mavericks. Third baseman for them, and he hits the ball on the ground to the shortstop. Caden Black fields it, fumbles it, throws on the first in time for out number 2. So we've had 2 pitches, 2 outs. And Jacob Franklin hoping to get back into the dugout to get warm here. 2 up and 2 down here. And the batter now will be Wilkerson, the shortstop. Ben, what did Wilkerson do in his first plate appearance? Wilkerson. Oh, sorry.
For Wilkerson, he got struck out by Jacob Franklin in that first appearance for him.
Pitch is a called strike at the knees, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. I don't normally say this, Ben, but I think we're getting the calls here. I mean, that pitch was a borderline pitch, and he called it a strike. And just about everything the Maverick pitchers have been throwing, they've called a ball. That one was definitely high. 1 ball and 1 strike. I don't usually compliment the officials that often.
Oh yeah, we sure remember that from basketball season. But a couple steal opportunities for the Wildcats going in their favor. A couple of plays there as that one goes down the line, and that's going to be foul. But a couple opportunities for these Wildcats going in their favor, including some steal opportunities like I mentioned, but a couple pitching opportunities as well, as Jacob's getting a lot of calls going his way and continuing to execute well and continuing to get a lot going for these Wildcats.
One thing, I'm going to give my boy Caleb Riker a little credit here. It is hard to do a baseball game with one camera sitting on a hill with a dugout obscuring the left side of the field here. So I'm going to give him credit. That's why I'm kind of doing more of a radio call here, so because it is hard to see, I would think, for you viewers out there, as that pitch is a little bit outside. The count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, if you look at a major league game or even a college game, you got 5, 6, 7, 8 cameras, which make it much easier.
Yeah, and you and I talked about this before the game even started, is that there's normally for a lot of college and MLB games, there's a camera down the center field lines where you can be able to see, you can actually see the pitch zone a lot better than just about anybody, which is why a lot of people end up watching games at home. But it's a lot different for us here in high school just because of the different things that we have, but we don't have that same opportunity to get those great shots because of the field structures at a lot of venues.
That's ball 4 right there. So the Mavericks have a base runner with 2 outs here. What I was thinking about doing, honestly, and when we broadcast home ball games from the press box, it's not the greatest view. I mean, it's right behind the plate, obviously, and they're getting ready to tear that one down, actually, and kind of rebuild it. I was thinking about getting maybe some scaffolding of some sort if it's a flat area out in center field. I was actually going to go look at that today and maybe do some broadcasting from center field. A long ways from the concession stand. That's the bad side of it. As Franklin's got a runner at first. The pitch is a called strike. Nice pitch on the outer half of the plate. It is 7-1. Wildcats trying to sweep the Mavericks in the first 2 games of the year. Won last night 5-1 over at Bobby Hopkins Field in a cold night. We've said that a lot. That's kind of that pitch is hit foul. That pitch was probably a good 8 to 9 inches off the plate and right at ankle level, but he still swung at it and hit it foul and pulled it to the right side.
Yeah, just right there, almost getting in for a hit right there, at least in the fair territory, but just continued to sail a little bit to the right.
Speaking of concession stands, something smells good on that grill over there. Here's the 0-2 pitch, just a bit high, and the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. So I knew Ben was a baseball guy. I saw him in Atlanta at the Braves game. Caleb, on the other hand, is not as much a baseball fan, but he says he's an Astros fan, which makes it even worse. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. Pitch to the plate, hit in the air, softly. Shortstop Caden Black. Wildcats can't make the catch. They're going to have a play at third, though. Here's the throw, and he is out. Oh, he's safe. Evidently, he either dropped the ball or he didn't apply the tag. From my angle, I couldn't see it. Maybe you all could see it better than me. They had a good opportunity to get him. The throw was right at the bag. He must have just gotten under the tag there, and they've got runners at first and third. Nothing has really been hit that hard in this game, honestly, by the Mavericks. That one was just a little bloop. Caden went back on it, and like I said, the sun is blaring right in that direction, and it kind of dropped in that Bermuda Triangle between the left fielder, the center fielder, and the shortstop, and they have runners on the corners.
Yeah, I think it was just a bit of a mix right there, a mix of miscommunication, a mix of the elements right there, but they ended up being able to bounce back from it and throw it over to third, and you notice how we talk about the officials, and then right there it ends up being not going in our favor as that ball goes on the ground, throws over to first, and he's got it there for the out to end the inning for the Wildcats.
You don't see a freshman make a play like that. That was Mikey Teasley at third, fielded on a short hop, threw on to get a fast runner going down the line at first, and a nice throw and a nice catch on the other end by Tyler Pickens, and the Anderson County threat is over. We have played 3 complete innings here at Anderson County High School. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge on top by a score of 7-1. We'll send it back once again. It's Oak Ridge and the Anderson County Mavericks here at Anderson County High School. We'll be back in a moment. What are you looking for? Welcome back once again to Anderson County High School, the Wildcats of Oak Ridge. And on top 7-1 here. My camera guy has eluded me here, and hopefully nothing will happen here while he's gone. Ben has gone on a little errand as well. 1 ball, no strikes the count. You can get that in between innings there, Mr. Riker, as that pitch is a little bit high and outside, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Oak Ridge on top 7-1 as we broadcast here live on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Here's the pitch, down low, a ball, 2 balls and 1 strike. Just saw, Ben, this will interest you, and I'll talk to you after this pitch here. 2-1 pitch, hit in the air to center field and deep. Center fielder back on it. To the warning track he goes and makes a nice catch right at the edge of the warning track around the 370 mark for out number 1. So it's 1 out here. The Braves sent Ian Anderson back to Gwinnett along with Colby Allard, I believe. So that's kind of a surprise. That means Mr. Schuster, who is a rookie, will be on the one of the pitchers for the Braves this year. And we'll talk about that in a second. Here's the pitch. It's low, 1 ball, no strikes. Are you surprised about Ian Anderson?
Just hearing about Ian because I heard that he would potentially be in the rotation for opening day for the Braves, but that is a bit of a surprise just to hear that he's going down to AAA Gwinnett. That is pretty interesting, David.
2 balls and no strikes to Jacob Franklin. The count now 3 balls and no strikes. While you were gone, Ben, Caleb could not control himself with that smell that's coming over here from the concession stand. There's a called strike to Jacob Franklin. He took off here just as the inning was beginning, and I was sitting here. You were gone. He was gone. And as there's ball 4, and Jacob's going to go down the first. So Wildcats have another leadoff man. We have had so many base runners. I have to keep Ben on his toes here on the book here. We've had so many base runners in this game as here comes Alex Franklin in to run for Jacob as a courtesy runner. Wildcats have put 7 on the board here. We've only played 3. We're in the top half of the 4th inning. Oak Ridge and Coalfield on Thursday. Next week, Campbell County, a couple games, district games. One at Bobby Hopkins Field and one up in Campbell County. Runner takes his lead off of first. That's Alex Franklin. Nobody out here. And the pitch to the plate with the runner going. Pitches in the dirt. Here's the throw down. It bounces in this kind of right center field. It's a stolen base for Alex Franklin, his second of the ball game. The Wildcats have a runner in scoring position with nobody out in a 7-1 ball game as the Wildcats bat here in the 4th inning. Eddie Tan, the batter for the Wildcats. Eddie's reached base a couple times here, I believe. Runner in scoring position. The pitch to him is hit foul and out of play. Correct me if I'm wrong here. What has Eddie done here in this one?
Yeah, Eddie on his first appearance reached first base on a fielder's choice, and then a base on balls on his second appearance.
He's got an even count here. 1 ball and 1 strike. 7-1 Oak Ridge. Runner at second, Alex Franklin. Here comes the second baseman sneaking in behind, but he's back safely. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out here as the Wildcats bat here in the top of the 4th inning at Anderson County High School. You know, I tried to tell Caleb to dress warmly, and he's got a couple of layers on, but it is so cold out here to sit out here in the wind. I told you, Caleb. I told him as that pitch hits him. So Eddie's reached base 3 times today in the hard way. Last night he was hit by a pitch, basically in the same area, right in the kind of the small of the back there. So the Wildcats have runners at first and second with 1 out, and the batter will be Tyler Pickens. Tyler, the big bopper for the Wildcats. Great addition. We've talked about that. He's just going to be, I think he'll be a big-time college baseball player if he chooses to go that route. I would have loved to have seen him play football for 4 years at Oak Ridge High School, and I think he would have been big time in football as well. He takes a ball there. 1 ball, no strikes. What has Tyler done today?
For Tyler Pickens, let me pull up the stat sheet with the wind blowing a little bit. For Tyler Pickens, he reached base first on a walk, and then last time got on base with the fielder's choice.
Another pickoff play at second. He almost throws it into center field, and he does. So the Wildcats will have a runner at third and a runner at second. So both runners advance. That throw was high, and the Wildcats have runners in scoring position. 2 runners in scoring position now, and a 2 ball, 1 strike. Actually, a 1 ball, no strike count on Tyler Pickens. That throw, when he first launched it, I thought he was going to go up high enough to pull it down, but just sailed over, just kept on going and scooted out into center field. The Wildcats have runners at second and third. 7-1 Wildcats in the lead. Sun beginning to set here. It's even going to get colder. I brought you a blanket there, Caleb. Why don't you take advantage of it? That pitch is on the inside corner for a called strike, and the count is 1 ball and 1 strike.
I don't know what to say, man. You're giving me the microphone. It's really cold out here. I probably should have dressed warmer. Back to that pitch, it just kind of looked like he just floated. It didn't look like it was.
I pulled it away because the ball hits off the pitcher, and the Wildcats are going to score a run here. Wildcats score with Alex Franklin coming in to score. The ball went off the pitcher, caromed out towards the second baseman. That's a single and an RBI, an infield single, and a painful one for the Anderson County pitcher. The Wildcats have another run on the board, and they lead at 8-1.
Yeah, great hit by Tyler Pickens as he drives in a run, and these Wildcats continue to put on the pain for the Anderson County Mavericks, and another scorer running in there as an RBI comes in for Alex Franklin.
Sorry about pulling the mic away from you there, Caleb, but we got a base hit. But it looks like we might have another pitching change. Let's see. Looks like we're going to have a different actually, no, they're going to stay with him, and Richie Ferreira is going to step in here. The Wildcats have runners on the corners. The Wildcats scored 4 in the first, 3 in the third, 1 run here so far in the fourth inning. And they've got runners on the corners with 1 out. And Eddie Tan is the runner at third. Tyler Pickens is the runner at first. And the batter for the Wildcats is Richie Ferreira. Richie's had a good day at the plate, had a good couple days at the plate for the Wildcats. He has another RBI opportunity here. Pitch to him is a called strike. What has Richie done today?
For Richie, he got a double in his first appearance and then a single last time on base.
He's behind in the count. No balls and 1 strike. Pickens going from first. The pitch is down low. Here comes the throw right back to the pitcher. That is a stolen base. So Pickens will be the base runner at second for the Wildcats. Eddie Tan is at third. We've got a 1-ball, 1-strike count on the batter. It's 8-1 Wildcats. Oak Ridge won last night 5-1. Pitch to Richie's hit foul back our way and into the screen. And he falls behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. I think the only thing Caleb cares about, he doesn't care if it's cold. He just cares about what's on that grill over there because the wind is blowing that smell our way. And it does smell amazing. That's what Caleb said. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Richie Ferreira back in. Yeah, just burgers, but it's grilled burgers. That's the way it should be. Cut on a miss, and that's a swinging strikeout. Might have taken something off on that one, and that is out number 2. So if the Wildcats are going to score, it's going to be up to the freshman who just made a phenomenal play at third in the previous inning. Just a great play for Mikey Teasley, and he stands in here. Mikey's had a very productive day.
Correct, David, bringing in some RBIs on his last appearance and doing really well hitting-wise.
Takes a strike there. Tan's their base runner. He was hit by a pitch. He's the base runner at third. Tyler Pickens had an infield single. He is the base runner at second after he stole second. 1 strike the count on Mikey. The pitch to him is hit on the ground, foul up the third base line. And Mikey Teasley behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Mikey's a freshman. Like I said, he'll pitch some this year. He's already played a little third base for the Wildcats. His dad, Michael Teasley, was a good football player for us several years ago. Pitch to the plate is down low a ball, and that makes the count 1 ball and 2 strikes. We appreciate all of you watching our YouTube broadcast here on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Now we're going to do a Campbell County game. I'm thinking about the Thursday ball game. Well, here's the pitch hit on the ground. That'll go into left field. A base hit. 1 run scores. Eddie Tan's in. Here comes Tyler Pickens. He scores, and the Wildcats now lead at 10-1. And the freshman Mikey Teasley drives in 2 more runs for the Wildcats, and Oak Ridge leads it 10-1 over the Anderson County Mavericks.
Once again by Mikey, another great hit, and that drives into left field to bring another 2 RBIs on another RBI single.
10-1 our score, and the Wildcats now will ascend to the plate, and that'll be Cam Welch for the Wildcats. Runner in scoring position again. That's Mikey Teasley. Righty versus lefty here. Wildcats 4 runs in the first, 3 in the third, 3 more here in the fourth inning to take a 10-1 lead over the Anderson County Mavericks. Mikey takes his lead off of second. The pitch way outside. 1 ball and no strikes to count.
Camden with an RBI single as well, driving in some runs last time on his base, and then also swinging the ball really, really well. This one goes outside for another ball.
2 balls, no strikes the count. We're live here at Anderson County High School. Chilly Anderson County High School. Sun's beginning to set. I don't know if I can say it anymore. I'll just kind of quit complaining about the cold here. 2 balls, no strikes to count. Checking the runner at second. He's not going. That's way outside. And it's 3 balls and no strikes. On deck for the Wildcats, looks like Kyron Welch. He's on deck. He is the right fielder for the Wildcats, I guess. I'm going to look at this right here. He is this catcher. What I'm saying, this is the right fielder. Got the Welch brothers here. That pitch is a called strike at the belt, and the count is 3-1. We had a great turnout of fans here. Anybody who hasn't been to Bobby Hopkins Field in a while, they've made some improvements to it, some new bleachers in, some new concrete down. They're expecting to get some new netting in soon. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Sits outside. Runner Teasley's going to third, and here's the throw, and this time he is safe. So a stolen base for Mikey Teasley and a walk to Camden Welch, and the Wildcats have runners on the corners again with 2 outs. And the batter now will be Kyron Welch. He is playing catcher for the Wildcats. What has he done tonight?
So far for Kyron, he has gotten on base with a walk so far.
Right-handed hitting junior, hitting in the number 8 position for Coach Travis Free. I mentioned earlier he won his 100th game as a head coach last night in the victory. Cam takes his lead off of first. Mikey off of third. Here's the throw over to first and easily back to the bag. I don't know if he's going anywhere, although you never know with Coach Free. He'll send people. Doesn't matter. He'll send them. Caleb's giving me the look. Are you saying that Big Cam is not able to steal a base here? Is that what you're saying, Caleb? Yes. That's what he's saying. Nobody has timeout is asked for by Kyron. He steps out of the bag, gets the timeout. Runners on the corners. The Wildcats have put 3 on the board here in the 4th inning. They lead it 10-1 over the Anderson County Mavericks. Right-handed hitter, the pitch. There's a called strike. And the count is no balls and 1 strike. Caleb in his first high school baseball game. Hopefully many more. He's a member of the Oak Ridge track team, so probably won't see him much. Here's the pitch, hit on the ground to the third baseman this time. Feels it, fumbles it a little bit, throws low, but dug out of the dirt for out number 3. But the Wildcats put 3 more on the board. They leave a couple runners. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning here at Anderson County High School. Your Oak Ridge Wildcats lead the Mavericks 10-1, and we'll be back to Anderson County in a moment after Caleb does the Macarena. David Clary back here along with Ben George, Caleb Riker here. The Wildcats of Oak Ridge have opened up a 10-1 lead over the Anderson County Mavericks as the Mavericks face Jacob Franklin here in the bottom half of the fourth inning. Defensively, it looks like no changes so far. Tyler Pickens is still at first base. Jason Slay is the second baseman. Shortstop is Caden Black. The third baseman for the Wildcats is Mikey Teasley. We got Izzy Mitchell out in left field for the Wildcats. The center fielder for Oak Ridge is Richie Ferreira, and the right fielder is Cam Welch. The catcher is Kyron Welch. And Jacob Franklin has gone all the way for the Wildcats. He's given up the one run. That came back in the second inning. And he'll be facing, let's see, the number 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the Anderson County lineup. And he throws a strike to start things off. It'll be Strickland batting here. He's playing center field for the Mavericks. He is a right-handed hitter. One strike the count. Jacob Franklin to the plate. Here comes. One strike pitch hit in the air softly, right field. Second baseman, though, Jason Slay makes the catch right at the edge of the grass. I thought the ball was hit a little bit harder than that. Just a soft little pop-up on the infield, so that's 2 pitches and 1 out. So Jacob has been very, very efficient with his pitching in this one. In one inning, I think the first 2 batters were out on 2 pitches. And now the batter for them will be, looks like number 3 for them. That'll be Aiden Bond. Right-handed hitter, 1 out here. Wildcats of Oak Ridge on top of Anderson County, 10-1. You're watching our broadcast. We appreciate you watching it. You can see on the top of the screen our sponsors. Most of those are from basketball, but we appreciate them. As the ball is hit into Caden Black, he cranks it up and cannot throw him out for the second out. That'll be an infield single. Once the ball got past Mikey Teasley, kind of bounced, Caden fielded it, kind of double clutched, and by that time, he really had no shot of getting the base runner, so they've got an infield single here in the fourth inning. Ben's doing camera work now as Caleb could not contain himself and had to go over to the concession stand. Franklin now faces, looks like Mr. Clark, and he hits the ball on the infield once again, shallow infield. The Wildcats right fielder is going to make the catch right at the edge of the grass, obviously playing very shallow. So Anderson County not working the counts here. They're seeing Jacob hit the strike zone and swinging on the first pitches and pitch typically in these at-bats, and that's 2 outs here. And the Mavericks now will send to the plate number 15. That'll be Mr. White. That'll be Mo White, stands in. He's a right-hander. Runner at first. For the Mavericks, he reached on an infield single. 2 outs in the fourth, 10-1 Wildcats. That pitch is down low. Nice stop by Welch behind the plate. 1 ball, no strikes the count. It's getting a little darker here at Anderson County, and we're behind the light poles. We'll be eager to see how it looks on the camera. It's hard to do baseball. I've said that. I mean, you have one camera, and the press box and areas are just not made for broadcasting baseball. We don't have camera positions, so it makes it tough. Caleb has returned. Looks like he's got some hot chocolate as well with that hamburger. 1 ball, 1 strike. I'm sure our concession stand will be humming on Thursday when the Wildcats host Coalfield. We'll hope you'll come out. That pitch is a ball, throw down to first, and easily back to the bag will go the base runner. 2 balls and 1 strike the count. Runner at first, 2 outs. Jacob Franklin has gone all the way here for the Wildcats. The stretch, the pitch to the plate, inside for a called strike, and the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Yeah, great pitching right here for Jacob Franklin still, as we're trying to just finish it off right here in this bottom part of the fourth.
We're going to get a critique of this hamburger at some point because Caleb's doing camera work and eating at the same time. That pitch bounces away, and that's going to be ball 3, and down to second will go the base runner for the Mavericks. And Jacob is saying, don't throw it down, or I want to keep that ball. He said, I want that ball. I want that ball. It must be scuffed up just enough to get that breaking pitch going for him. So he wanted it back, did not want it thrown out of the game. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Runner at second. Big lead. Second baseman Jason Slay has snuck in behind the bag there. If Jacob elects to whirl and throw back that way, the lead's getting shorter and shorter. 10-1 Wildcats. Timeout is asked for by Mo White. Full count on him. 2 outs. And the 3-2 pitch from Jacob Franklin. Nope, he's going to throw back, and he hadn't wandered off that far. He had been off farther, but I guess the play was on. And he had decreased that lead ever so much and really was only maybe 2 steps off the bag. Caleb, I'll talk to you here in a second about that hamburger. It looks more like a cheeseburger. 3 balls and 2 strikes. 3-2 pitch. That's ball 4. And they've got runners at first and second. All right, Caleb. Tell the fans out there watching, listening to our broadcast, about these beautiful burgers here at Anderson County High School.
It's amazing. So, I got ketchup, cheese, and lettuce on this burger. I smelled the burger like 2 innings ago. I was like, what's that smell? Me and you both, David. I mean, it's amazing. It's the best thing here so far. I mean, I love the game, but this burger's amazing.
So that's a credit to as a throwback to second. They almost got him down there. Nice throw by Welch behind the plate at catcher. Almost got the runner at second. Count is 1 ball and no strikes. So you heard it here, Ben. The hamburgers obviously at Anderson County are something to come to an Anderson County Maverick baseball game for.
According to Caleb, they might as well just be the staple of Anderson County Mavericks baseball, apparently.
Absolutely.
He says absolutely. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Jacob in a little bit of a mess here. He's got runners at first and second with 2 outs, though. And a 1 ball, 1 strike count on number 20. And he's the number 9 hitter in their order. That is the designated hitter. And his full name is Luke Lankford. Stands in. He's a lefty. Pitch to him is outside. Bounced in front of the plate there. Nice stop by Welch. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Kind of a longer inning here for Jacob, trying to work his way through the 4th inning. His team on top 10-1 over Anderson County. Righty versus lefty here. 2-1 pitch. Hit in the air. Foul territory left side. Mikey Teasley and company over that way. And the catch is made for out number 3. We didn't see it, but I could tell by the reaction of the Oak Ridge fans and the team as they came trotting off the field that was out number 3. So the Wildcats see Anderson County put 2 on the board here in the 4th, and they leave them stranded. We go to the top of the 5th. The Wildcats on top of the Anderson County Mavericks, 10-1, and we'll be back in a moment. Welcome back once again to Anderson County High School. We go to the top of the 5th inning. Oak Ridge on top of the Mavericks, 10-1. On our YouTube broadcast here on our Prep Radio channel. Want to remind everybody, Wednesday nights, 7 o'clock on BBB Channel 12, we have Covering the Bases show. That features the head coach of the Wildcats, Coach Travis Free, and this week we have a couple of senior Wildcats. They'll be on the show with us. I believe one of them will be Jacob Franklin, who we might be speaking to after the ball game. And we'll do a couple of player interviews, and we'll speak to Coach Free after the game. Hope you'll stay tuned for that as the Wildcats stand in here. Looks like Jason Slay leads things off for the Wildcats, hitting in the number 9 spot. He takes the strike, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. We're in the 5th inning. The Wildcats up 10-1. The Wildcats, in high school baseball, you have a 10-run rule. If you are up by 10 after 5, you can win the ball games. The Wildcats need to play to run here so we can have an early night. That pitch evidently just a little low, maybe a little outside. Count is 3 balls and 1 strike. Run rules are good, especially when it's about 35 degrees.
Yeah, definitely would love for them to get this run as Jason gets that walk right now and will go on his base. Would definitely love a run rule right here just to be able to get out of here and then head back to Oak Ridge.
Wildcats do have that leadoff man on here with nobody out, and the batter will be the leadoff man for Oak Ridge. That'll be the junior, Caden Black, the shortstop for the Wildcats. He'll be followed by Jacob Franklin. The Wildcats up 10-1 here in the 5th. Hope you've enjoyed watching our first broadcast as that pitch is on the outside corner for a called strike. No balls and 1 strike. I kind of feel for the junior varsity guys. They always have to play the late game, and these nights when it's so cold, I know they don't want to be there. Last night they just played a 90-minute game. Regardless, that pitch is fouled, tipped back at the plate, and Caden behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Jacob Franklin on deck. We have 1 on, nobody out. Slay takes his lead. He's going. Pitch is hit foul. Back to the screen, and count is no balls and 2 strikes. And Jason Slay returns to first base. Wildcats have stolen a lot of bases in this one. That's Coach Free. He likes to steal. He likes to get his guys in motion, get them in scoring position, and get them in. 0-2 pitch. Cut on a miss. Another strikeout, and a stolen base, though, for Jason Slay. Caden doesn't strike out much. That's one thing that kind of has surprised me. He, in his first couple of years here, he just does not strike out that much. That pitch was out of the strike zone and high, and he was trying to protect his runner, but that's a swinging strikeout. Ben, do your duty on the book here. I think Ben wanted to pace a little bit, or I don't know what are you cold?
Just for warmth a little bit to get a little movement in the legs, but still it doesn't matter because it's still cold.
Wildcats have a runner in scoring position, 1 out now. The pitch is hit in the air to center field. Center fielder has a bead on it. I don't think Slay will tag here. That's in medium center, so that's 2 outs here. And the batter, actually now will be Eddie Tan. The batter there was Jacob Franklin. A high, easy pop out to center field, and that's 2 outs. We go to Eddie. Eddie's been on base all 3 times today. One was a painful trip to the plate. He was hit in the back. I mentioned he was hit last night, and he hits the ball foul over towards the Anderson County dugout and just out of play. Remind me, I know he was hit by a pitch, reached on a fielder's choice, and walked. I think I remember.
Correct, David.
Let's kind of get him a little bit more into the picture here, if we can, as that pitch is hit in the air, right side. First baseman back on is drifting into foul territory, and the ball's going to drop, and the Wildcats are going to score that 11th run here. That ball was a high pop to right field, and the first baseman was going back for it and just kept drifting back, and the right fielder probably had a better look at it, but it just dropped just barely into fair territory, and the Wildcats now lead at 11-1, and that's your 10 runs right there. If the Wildcats could hold them in the bottom half of the inning, the Wildcats will take home a victory here. But we'll see. Let's add a few more here as they bat with 2 outs with Tyler Pickens.
Another great hit right there by Eddie Tan. A little bit of miscommunication in right field for the Mavericks, and just another, like you said, David, another great hit, and hopefully this will be able to hold up for a good little 10-run win.
Here's the pitch. Hit in the air once again on the right side. Heading towards the line in foul territory. Just foul. Down the right field line. And the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 11-1 Wildcats here as they bat here in the 5th inning. Live at Anderson County High School. Oak Ridge won last night's game 5-1. Anderson County failed to get a base hit in that game. The Wildcats had a combined no-hitter with our batter now, Tyler Pickens and Alex Franklin combined for a 7-inning no-hitter. They did score an unearned run in that one. Fell to the Wildcats 5-1. Here's the 1-1 pitch to Tyler. Bounced at the plate. And the count is 2 balls and 1 strike.
Is that an error for Eddie?
No, it's a hit. Pickens back in for the Wildcats. 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 outs. 1 run in. Pitches hit foul again. Off to the right side and well out of play this time. And the count is even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Travis Free is the head coach of the Wildcats. We'll speak to him after the ball game. Hope you'll stay tuned for that. They have a junior varsity ball game. We will not be broadcasting that game. Pitch is hit well into left field, and that's going to drop in for another hit. Here comes Eddie Tan. He's heading towards third. The throw to third, not in time. And Tyler Pickens is on second base. With the throw came in. We'll give him a double on that one. Why not? I mean, he threw to third, but Tyler was already on his way to second. So the Wildcats have 2 more runners in scoring position. And the batter now will be the center fielder, Richie Ferreira. Richie's had a pretty good game here. Swings and he misses there. And the count is 0-1. 11-1 Wildcats here as they bat in the 5th. Trying to make it a little easier for Jacob Franklin in the bottom half of the inning. A couple more runs would help. Pitch is down low, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Like I said, in high school baseball, if you're up 10 after 5, you can come away with a win. They're up 10 right now, hoping to get more. There's a called strike. And the count is no balls and 2 strikes. 2 on, 2 outs. Eddie takes his lead off of third. Eddie Tan. Pitch is cut on a miss, and that's a swinging strikeout, and that is out number 3. So the Wildcats 3 outs away from their second win. Jacob Franklin will take the hill, I believe, once again to try to close it out here, try to keep the Mavericks down with the 1 run here. So it's been a really, really good game for the Wildcats. Oak Ridge scored 4 runs in the first inning, 3 runs in the third, 3 more in the fourth, and a solo run here in the 5th. So, Ben, you can't ask for much more. You've gotten good pitching from Jacob Franklin and just some good hitting and some good patient hitting. The Wildcats have a lot of walks. They've stolen several bases. I'll let you recap the whole game after the ball game, but they've just done everything they've needed to do to this point.
Yeah, if you're Travis Free, you can't ask for anything better than tonight's game. I mean, really great pitching by Jacob so far. A really good game defensively, not allowing many hits and not allowing many runs. And offensively, just hitting the ball really well, getting a lot of RBIs, getting a lot of singles, and hitting the ball really well. It's just a lot of great things to take away from this game, and it's still going on.
Once again, the wind kind of blows the smell of the grill over there a little bit closer and closer to us here. Well, let's see what Jacob can do here, trying to get his first win of the year. As I mentioned last year, I think he went like 7-1 on the year. His only loss was like a 1-0 loss to Central, and just a tough loss for him. And he's trying to pick up his first win of the year here in 2023. He's in good shape to do that, but he's trying to do it here after 5 innings, as the Wildcats lead at 11-1. And the leadoff man for them will be their top of the order, and that'll be Fletcher standing in. And that is Lane Fletcher. He's a right-handed hitter, facing the right-handed throwing Jacob Franklin, the senior. And the first pitch to him. That's a ball. 1 ball, no strikes to count. Ben, what has Lane done here in this ball game as he gets the book out here?
Lane Fletcher so far has gotten out on both his batting appearances tonight.
Takes a ball there, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. 11-1 Wildcats here. Sun setting, getting darker. Hopefully you can still see. It's hard to see the batter there. That's the one bad part about this position. Unless you're a left-hander, probably not able to see the right-handed hitter. And that pitch is a called strike, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Believe it or not, that is Lane Fletcher batting there. He's a right-handed hitter. That pole is kind of in our way, just a little bit on your picture. I blame Caleb for that. That pitch is inside, and the count is 3 balls and 1 strike. I guess we could have moved the camera a little bit farther up the hill here, but it's not the best vantage point, honestly. Well, we've got a great vantage point watching it from where we are, but camera not so much on the batter. It's the first time I've been actually able to see the batter. As that pitch is hit on the ground to Caden Black. Fields it, throws on to Tyler Pickens. That is out number 1 here in the 5th inning. Hard hit ball, but out. And now the batter for them will be number 10 for them once again. That'll be Reese Wilkerson. Wilkerson is their shortstop. And what has he done today?
So far for Reese Wilkerson, in his first appearance, he got struck out by Jacob Franklin, and then in his second, got a walk by Jacob Franklin.
One out here in the 5th inning, 11-1 Wildcats. The pitch, a little bit high, 1 ball, no strikes, the count. Our first YouTube broadcast of Oak Ridge High School baseball. A little bit more of a radio call here just because of the one camera. I've said that. It's tough to do. It's just tough. I mean, it's hard to do it. Normally I wouldn't talk quite as much. Well, that's probably not true. I usually talk a lot. Not as much as Caleb, though. I don't know anybody talks more than Caleb. 2 balls, no strikes, the count. Here's the pitch. Franklin's down low, 3 balls and no strikes. Vashawn Knowles, part of our crew in basketball. I think he didn't want to come, Caleb, because of the cold.
Probably. He's just lazy, obviously. No, I'm just kidding. But probably. I didn't know it was going to be this cold. I mean, I would have gone still, but I would have prepared myself a little bit more appropriately.
You know, look back in the text that I sent you, and I said, dress warmly or dress appropriately.
I thought this was going to be warm enough. Sweatpants would be good.
There's a walk here, and looks like we might have a pitching change here. It might be all for Jacob Franklin. He gets a hug from his coach, Travis Free, and he's done a good job. Let me tell you, this kid had to go through surgery and missed all of summer ball and had to do a lot of rehab getting ready just to be able to play this year. He's not going to be able to play catcher, and I can just tell by his body language that he doesn't want to come out of the game. He probably told Coach Free, I want to stay in the ball game, and it looks like number 7 is staying in the game right now. I guess he honestly gave him an answer. He said, I want to finish this out, and he said, okay, Jacob, you've earned that. Yeah, 4-year member of our program, you've earned a chance to end this game. And he throws a strike, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. They've got a runner at first in an 11-1 ball game as the Mavericks bat here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Franklin checks the runner at first. The pitch hit in the air softly, left side. Caden Black under it, gets under it, and he makes the catch for the out. They throw back to first and almost get a double play here. Nice play out of our view. The dugout obviously in front of that play, but obviously the catch was made, and that is out number 2. That's the disadvantage of where we're having the broadcast from, honestly. But I could tell by the reaction of the fans that he made the catch, and then he threw back to first, almost got the runner for the 3rd out of the inning. So there's 2 outs now, and the batter now will be the center fielder for them, and he swings and he misses. That'll be, I guess, Aiden Bond. Let's see, or Alex Bond. Alex Bond is the batter. Right-handed hitter. 2 outs here. The Wildcats up 11-1. Need 1 out. And here's a throw over to first, and he is, oh boy, from my vantage point, he looked pretty pretty out from here, but we're a long ways away, and there's a screen in front of us, so we'll give that umpire the benefit of the doubt. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count. 11-1 Wildcats. Decent sized lead off of first. The pitch is down low, and count is now 2 balls and 1 strike. I like the fact, Ben, that Coach Free allowed Jacob to try to finish this one.
Correct. Yeah, you just got to let with the situation right now being ahead 10 runs, you just hope that he'll be able to finish right here. But, of course, you love his heart, and a great opportunity right here for him to be able to finish.
I think if he loses him, though, that Coach Free might take him out. In fact, he's already signaling down in the bullpen to see if the guy warming up is ready, and I cannot see who that might be. 3 balls, 1 strike, the count. Here's the pitch. Hit well into left field. That's going to drop in for at least 1. It's going to roll to the left fielder. He fumbles it, and they're going to call for him to come home and score, and they are, and the 10 runs are no more. So a solid single to left field, and it was fumbled a little bit out there in the outfield, and they come all the way around from first to score to make it 11-2. And I think most likely that might be the end of the night for Jacob Franklin, although I haven't seen any movement there. But tough break there. The ball was hit hard, but then the Wildcats didn't field it cleanly out in the outfield, and the run comes in to score, and it's 11-2. Right-handed batter now, standing in. That'll be Strickland once again. He plays center field for the Mavericks. Runner at second. The pitch cut on and missed. Low inside pitch, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. 2 outs here in the 5th inning. 11-2. The Wildcats in the lead. The pitch low. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. We appreciate you watching our live broadcast on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio. Wildcats' next ball game is Thursday at home against Coalfield. It is spring break for both schools, Mavericks and Wildcats. 1 ball, 1 strike. The pitch cut on a miss. Inside once again, and the count is 1-2. Jacob Franklin's gone all the way for the Wildcats. Has given up only the 2 runs here, but that was a tough one. Even though it seems like a disappointment, but we're up 11-2. Can't be too disappointed. That pitch is outside of ball. Evens the count at 2-2.
Correct, and like I was saying, you just want to be able to hold them right there, but then eventually getting that hit, that double right there, and now they drive in a run, and now it's getting ready to be 11-2.
Here's the 2-2 pitch from Franklin, down low, a ball, and the count is full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ridge High School baseball trying to go 2-0 on the year, trying to sweep the season series with the Mavericks. They'll play Coalfield and then Campbell County next week. I'm not sure who they play the week after that, or the weekend after that. I have to check my schedule. I don't want to take my hands out of my pockets, to be honest with you. 3-2 pitch, that's ball 4. So now they have runners at first and second, and I think the decision has been made, and Coach Free will make a pitching change. Good night for Jacob Franklin here, but he's going to be replaced after 4 2/3 innings. He'll come out here in the 5th, and he'll be replaced, looks like, by John Ulrich. He'll come into the ball game for the Wildcats, and he'll try to close things out for Oak Ridge. While we have the pitching change, a nice round of applause for Jacob Franklin, who comes off the mound. His first pitching performance in a real ball game since last season, and the Wildcats lead it by a score of 11-2. We'll be back for see what John can do after this. Welcome back once again to Anderson County High School. The Wildcats on top 11-2. John Ulrich makes his first appearance for the Wildcats. He's a tall, slender right-hander. Played mainly junior varsity last year. Actually, John was one of my camera guys last year during baseball season. And it's good to see John out getting a chance to pitch in this one. Trying to shut the door here on the Mavericks here in the fifth. They've scored a run. They've got 2 on. There are 2 outs. Good job, I thought, though, by Jacob. I talked about, he had surgery and he had to rehab most of the summer. Didn't get to play summer ball at all. But I thought, he's not going to overpower you for sure. But he has good control for the most part. He throws a lot of off-speed stuff, and that sidearm stuff makes it difficult to hit. And I thought he did a good job.
Yeah, a great performance by and I've been calling him Alex. Great performance by Jacob there today. Like we've been mentioning, just not allowing as many hits as he's as I say that, not allowing as many hits, and then of course just pitching really well and hitting very well as well. And then as John gets ready to finish this thing off, that one's hit out and fouled off. But a difference in pitching, obviously, and like you mentioned, with the sidearm from Jacob, a little different compared to John's just traditional pitching stance and throw. So great performance by Jacob, and now John gets ready to deal.
He's ahead in the count, no balls and 1 strike to Aiden Bond, the number 6 hitter in the Maverick lineup. 2 on, 2 outs, 1 in, 11-2 Wildcats. John comes to the plate, cut on and fouled at the plate, and the count is no balls and 2 strikes. There's assistant coach Ben Peters running after that baseball. Ben was a great baseball player for the Wildcats back in his day, back in the early 2000s. I think still has the home run record at Maryville College. Ben could hit, let me tell you. Definitely a great hitter for the Wildcats. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch hit foul off to the right side. Tyler Pickens gives it a look, but it's well out of play over the top of the Maverick dugout and out. And the count remains at no balls and 2 strikes. 11-2 Wildcats as the Mavericks have plated a run here in the 5th. The Wildcats still lead at 11-2. Right-handed hitter. 2 on, 2 outs, 0-2 the pitch. Here it comes. Cut on a miss, and that's a swinging strikeout. Might have fouled, tipped into the mitt. Nice play, and John comes in and shuts the door on the Anderson County Mavericks, but they do score a run. It's 11-2, the Wildcats. Every single time that we go off the air here, Ben? Maybe so. We'll work on that. I'll just keep talking for the camera here. But if you subscribe to our Prep Radio channel, you can get alerted every single time that we are live. And Ben, what happened there?
So it unfortunately looked like the computer turned off, and then we rebooted it back up, and then we're back up and rolling. Hopefully our stream is back up on YouTube and our streaming channel as well, prepradio.com.
Anybody out there watching it, if we went off for a little while, please tell me if we're on the air or off the air. We'd appreciate that. 11-2 our score. The Wildcats. Mikey Teasley leads things off, and he bounces one to the shortstop. He's not going to get him, I don't believe. If he will not. Ball was thrown in the dirt, and Mikey Teasley is the leadoff man, and he is aboard here in the 6th inning. And the batter now for the Wildcats will be number 8. That'll be Camden Welch. I'm sorry. It is Camden Welch. The one thing that Coach Free should not do to me is put both Welch boys back to back. Here's a text from my mom, and she says we are on the air. So good job there, Ben. Called strike there. No balls and 1 strike the count. It's good to know we have a viewer, and my mom typically will listen or watch if we do a ball game. Runner at first, Mikey Teasley, big lead. Pitch is cut on and missed. That's Riley Rehill actually batting, a pinch hitter for the Wildcats. I just noticed that, number 8. Right-handed hitting, I think he is a senior, Riley is. He's behind 0-2. The pitch almost hit him. Inside, they're going to call strike 3. It looked like it was inside, but I guess not. And Riley goes down on 3 pitches here. And the batter now will be, this is a Kyron Welch for sure, the catcher. So Riley Rehill goes down. Teasley's going on the first pitch. Here's the throw, and he is in safely with a stolen base. So Mikey Teasley didn't go in the 3 pitches previous when Riley was batting, but he's in scoring position now with a no ball, 1 strike count on Kyron Welch. Spelled Kyhren. He is a junior. Takes a strike, and he's behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Well, we got that 10-run rule still looming there with a runner in scoring position. That pitch is hit foul back our way and out of play. That's about the closest we've had to one come to us, and it was still about 30 feet away from us. But got to figure some way, Ben, to get Mikey in.
Yeah, just trying to run in right here as Mikey gets a little bit of a lead but gets back. Just trying to drive him in to be able to get some more runs and be able to get this 10-run rule in so we can go home.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count. On deck for the Wildcats will be Jason Slay. He's the number 9 hitter in the Oak Ridge lineup. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch. Hit on the ground. Third baseman, he boots it. Wildcats are going to have runners at first and second with 1 out. So that's a break for the Wildcats. The ball was hit on a couple hops to the third baseman. He just couldn't quite field it cleanly, and the Wildcats have 2 on now. And the batter now will be, and the Wildcats are going to get a Eli Baldwin in to run for our catcher, courtesy runner for him, so the senior gets a chance to run. The Wildcats have Teasley at second, Baldwin at first, and the batter is Jason Slay. 11-2 Wildcats. I'm going to ask Ben here in a second what Jason has done in the ball game. He takes a strike on the inside corner of the plate, and the count is 0-1.
For Jason Slay, he had a sacrifice bunt earlier today and also had a walk for his 2 plate appearances today.
Swings and foul tips it perhaps into the mid, and he's behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Caden Black is on deck. Very quiet night for Caden, and it'd be a good opportunity for him to bat here. Let's see what Jason can do, though. No balls and 2 strikes. Runners are all going. The pitch is hit on the infield. Foul territory. Catcher can't get it. It drops just behind him and out of play. That would have been disastrous for the Wildcats if he had made the catch. That would have been an easy double play for the Mavericks, but he couldn't make the catch, and the count remains at no balls and 2 strikes. Jason is a senior. Started last year at second base for the Wildcats. They're going to throw back, and he throws it into center field, and Mikey Teasley's going to advance all the way to third. So that's a couple times they have tried a pickoff play at second, and both times the pitcher has thrown it into the outfield. So now the winning run is at third base with an 0-2 count on Jason Slay.
Yeah, just not a good throw there by the catcher, and then apparently it sailed right over the second baseman's head, and then Mikey was able to advance.
Jason still behind in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Runners on the corners now. Eli Baldwin at first. Mikey Teasley is their base runner at third. 11-2. Baldwin's going. The pitch is low. He's going to throw it halfway down. The Wildcats don't bite on that. They brought the second baseman right behind the pitcher, trying to draw the runner to break to the plate, and Mikey was all about it, and it's a stolen base for Eli. And the Wildcats have 2 in scoring position now, and Jason a 1-2 pitch. He hits the ball in the air on the infield. First baseman calls for it and makes the catch for out number 2. So it's going to come down to Caden Black here if the Wildcats are going to get on the board here and try to win this ball game. They're up 11-2. Runners at second and third, and Caden stands in. Caden, what has Caden done here in this one?
Currently, Caden has a walk, 2 outs in the left center field. And then
he hits the ball into right field, and it's going to drop in for a base hit, and the Wildcats are going to plate their 12th run, their 13th run. Rounding second and heading towards third will go Caden Black. He's going to come all the way in for an inside the park home run. The Wildcats, Caden Black comes all the way, hit the ball to the opposite side, all the way down the field in the far corner, and the Wildcats now lead it 14-2 here. He clears the bases. The ball just kept slicing. He is so fast. He got all the way around, and 3 runs scored.
Because when you said a base hit, I seriously just wrote down base hit on my stat sheet, but then he ended up running all the way home.
Foul ball hit off to the right side. So the Wildcats, Caden does pick up his teammates here, and not only did he score them, he scored himself as he came all the way around to score. 14-2 Wildcats. Here's the pitch. Cut on a missed. Wildcats batting with John Ulrich, his first plate appearance. John Ulrich. And he takes a ball, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Sophomore. John steps in once again, and he gets hits to the back. And listen, it's pandemonium in the Oak Ridge dugout. John primarily is a pitcher, and that might have been one of his first plate appearances of the year. Definitely his first plate appearance of this year. Might have been his first varsity plate appearance, and he's the base runner at first, and the batter now will be, looks like Eddie Tan, and now John's going to be replaced, and Alex Franklin is going to run once again. So courtesy runner, and Alex has had a productive day. He scored at least 1. I think I remember this, stolen a couple bases here. Eddie bats here, 14-2 Oak Ridge. So the Wildcats, once again, the same situation as the pitch is down low. If they get 3 outs in the bottom of this inning, the Wildcats will win.
Yeah, just looking for some more runs right here for the Wildcats. But, yeah, we just got to finish this last little inning, and then we're out of here.
Pitch is a called strike and evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. The Wildcats have had 4 different innings where they've scored at least 3 runs as Eddie takes one on the inside corner for a called strike. 1 on, and that is John Ulrich's runner, Alex Franklin. Wildcats scored 4 in the first, 3 in the third as that pitch is hit foul off the screen. 3 in the third, 3 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, and 3 more here in the 6th inning to lead it 14-2. They scored runs in the 2nd inning and in the 5th inning. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The pitch to Eddie, cut on a miss, and that's a swinging strikeout, and that is out number 3. But once again, the Wildcats up their lead. They lead it 14-2 over the Anderson County Mavericks as we broadcast on our YouTube channel, Prep Radio, here at Anderson County High School. We're going to turn off our mic once again so they don't shut off our stream with this copyrighted music. We'll be back to Anderson County in a moment. Welcome back once again to Anderson County High School. The long throw down to second base, and we're about to get the bottom of the 6th inning underway here from Anderson County High School, 14-2. I don't know what happened in that second inning, Ben. The Wildcats were shut out in that inning. Every other inning, they've put almost crooked numbers almost in every other inning of the game.
Yeah, Wildcats once again, David, just hitting the ball really hard, driving in runs on each and every opportunity that they have. Getting some opportunities here in the last inning to get some runs in, and just doing a great job of scoring, and right here being able to finish is their key goal right here.
Ulrich gets the strike on his first pitch. Here's his second one. Oh, boy. Pretty pitch there by John. Called a ball. Evens the count at 1 ball and 1 strike. Nobody on, nobody out. Mavericks batting here in the 6th inning. Chilly night here at Anderson County. Wildcats up 14-2. That ball's hit well, but foul down the left field side. And John Ulrich is ahead in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Coach Free told me on the television show that John had been working really hard to get himself ready to play in key situations like this, and he's got a 1 ball, 2 strike count on the leadoff man here in the 6th inning. 1-2 pitch, hit foul, smacked out of play, and the count remains at 1 ball and 2 strikes. The batter for them is number 11. That is Morgan Clark for the Anderson County Mavericks. In a 14-2 ball game, the Wildcats in the lead. Ulrich has the sign from Welch, and another 1-2 pitch. A little breaking pitch, a little high, actually very high. 2 balls and 2 strikes the count. Caleb Riker doing camera work here. Freezing. I told him. Dress appropriately, dress well. As that pitch is high, and you were outside today too. You knew how cold it was.
Well, I also warmed up while
Freshman. That's all I can say. 3 balls and 2 strikes the count. I can say that, Ben. Yeah, you're a senior, and I'm a senior citizen. 14-2 the score. 3 balls and 2 strikes the count. The pitch cut on a miss, and that's out number 1. So that's a strikeout. That's 2 strikeouts, 2 batters, 2 strikeouts for John. And that's 2 outs here in the 6th inning. And the batter now for the Mavericks, will be Mo White. What has Mo White done in this one?
For starters, David, he had 2 flyouts during this game, and then in his last bat appearance, he had a walk.
Right-handed hitter. He is the number 8 hitter in the Maverick lineup here. He squares to bunt for whatever reason. I guess he saw Mikey Teasley standing back behind the bag there. That pitch was over his head, but he still made a stab at it, and the count is no balls and 1 strike. Ben, you were at the game last night. I thought really what hurt the Mavericks, and I'll talk about that after this 1 strike pitch. On the inside corner, their base running really hurt them.
Yeah, they just weren't able to get great leads off, and then when they went for it, Oak Ridge was always there to be able to get on the tag and be able to be aggressive with it.
No balls and 2 strikes. John Ulrich has faced 2. He's struck out 2. Let's see what we can do here. Fastball high. And the count is 1 ball and 2 strikes. Coach Free will be joining me after the ball game. We might get a chance to speak to some of the Wildcats. He usually brings some players with him when we talk to him after the game. So we won't be leaving right away, guys. I know it's cold. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Oh, man, that's got to be strike 3, and it is. Really nice breaking pitch in there for John Ulrich, and he's faced 3, and he's struck out 3, and he's about to finish this game off for the Oak Ridge Wildcats. There's 2 outs and nobody aboard.
Yeah, up 12 runs right here, David. Just trying to finish off is John's main goal right here, and he's just got 1 more batter in his mitts, and he just got to finish right here.
14-2, the Wildcats in the lead, trying to go 2-0 on the year, trying to sweep the season series with the Mavericks. Another right-handed hitter standing in here, and that is Langford once again. John Ulrich comes to the plate, cut on a missed. Good fastball, belt level. And the count is 0-1. 2 outs, nobody aboard. 14-2 Wildcats here. John has the sign once again. And the slender Wildcat comes to the plate. That one's at letter high, a little bit too high, and the count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. Welch with the sign. Here's a 1-1 pitch. Hit well. Center fielder back on it and can't get it. It's over his head all the way back to the fence. It's going to have at least a double. Ball comes in really quickly. Ball was tagged that time by the Anderson County Maverick, and I think the center fielder not getting a lot of action out there. His first couple steps were in, and once he made that mistake, it was over his head, and they've got a runner at second with 2 outs. And we go to the top of the order once again, and that'll be Fletcher. So back to the top we go here. So John was perhaps, well, he still is 1 out away from it, but now they've got a runner in scoring position. The good news is we have a little bit more of a cushion here. It's 14-2, so the Wildcats have a 12-run lead. So barring a home run right here, hopefully John can get the 3rd out here, and we can send this broadcast to the archives of YouTube here. 14-2 our score.
Yeah, hopefully just looking for John to be able to finish right here so we can head on back to Oak Ridge. But just hoping that with the runner in scoring position that we play great defensive ball and just be able to field the ball really well, David.
Cut on a miss. The count is even at 1 ball and 1 strike. 1 on. He's at second. Booming double to center field. All the way to the wall. Just smacked it. Got the barrel on it and drilled it out there, and they've got a runner at second, but there are 2 outs here. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count. John Ulrich facing the leadoff man for the Mavericks, and there's a pitch on the inside corner, but low, and the count is 2 balls and 1 strike. Tyler Pickens has gone all the way at first base for the Wildcats. Jason Slay is at second base. Caden Black is the shortstop. Mikey Teasley is your third baseman. Outfield remains the same. Battery's the only thing that's changed. We've got our second pitcher, Jacob Franklin, started for the Wildcats if you just tuned in. And pitched well. Pitched 4 2/3 innings before John replaced him to get the final out of the 5th inning. He's gotten 2 outs here in the 6th. And a 2 ball, 1 strike count on the batter. Look at Caleb. We told him, Ben. You even brought some extra clothes for him, too. 2 balls, 1 strike, the pitch. Hit foul. Back our way once again and into the woods. And Ben is going to do his civic duty and go chase after that baseball. And I think he just wanted to get up and move, Caleb. I think that's why he got up.
Yeah, I can't blame him that much. It's very cold. I think he's about to pitch. I'll give you the mic back.
Thanks, Caleb. 2 balls, 2 strikes. That's low. And the count is full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Y'all laughed when I brought this big old heavy coat out, but I was cold last night for sure, and I was not gonna suffer through it. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. That's high, ball 4, and all the way back to the screen. So now they've got runners on the corners with 2 outs, and the number 2 hitter in their lineup, Wilkerson. So the Wildcats just trying to close it out here. They're up 14-2. They just need 1 out, and they win. And the tying run, at least in terms of the 10-run rules on, the Wildcats are up 12, 14-2. Batter is number 10 for them in their order. That is Wilkerson once again. Another right-hander. John Ulrich trying to close the deal here. Mavericks proving very pesky here. They've got runners on the corners, 2 outs. John has the sign and the pitch. High again. 1 ball, no strikes, the count. I'm going to ask Coach Free, and, I know how coaches are. You ask any coach, and they'll say, and if I ask the typical dumb announcer question by saying, do you think the cold had any effect on your pitchers today? He's going to say they've got to play hot or cold. And there's a called strike on the inside half of the plate. And the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Coaches, they never give any slack.
Yeah, it's always that coach talk. I mean, we've heard it with Coach Aaron Green a lot, and Coach Paige Taylor, and basically any coach that we've had the opportunity to speak with will say that they'll just give the same answer about similar questions, and it's just coach talk, basically.
But both pitchers have pitched well, actually. I mean, they've only given up 2 runs and very few hard hit balls, honestly, in this one. Yesterday, they pitched great. John's just trying to close it out here. That ball's hit well to left center field, and the ball is going to be caught for the Wildcats, and the game is over. A beautiful play out there by Izzy Mitchell, who made a diving catch, caught it right off his shoestrings, and the Wildcats win the ball game by a final score of 14-2. Don't see a lot of celebrating here. The Wildcats and the Mavericks will shake hands at the center part of the field. Great play by Izzy Mitchell. Unfortunately, because of our camera location, you probably couldn't see it, but he made a great catch, and the Wildcats win it 14-2. Let me get Ben over here to kind of recap the ball game, the scoring and such, and we'll talk to Coach Free here in a bit.
Well, it was an Oak Ridge win by a score of 14 runs to 2 runs as Oak Ridge got the final score. Hitting-wise for the Wildcats, it was Caden Black getting a walk in his first appearance, a fly out into left center twice, and then a center field pop-up out, and then a 2 RBI inside the park home run for Caden Black. Had the leadoff hitter, and then hitting second was pitcher who had a great performance on the mound, Jacob Franklin, with the fly out in the center field, a walk, another walk, and then a left center field pop fly out. At the third hitter, number 9 designated hitter Eddie Tan, with a first appearance single. Second appearance, he got a walk. Third appearance was hit by the pitch. And then fourth appearance, another single, and then a strikeout to end the day for Eddie. First baseman Tyler Pickens had a walk first, a fielder's choice single, an RBI single, and then a double in his final appearance for the Wildcats tonight. Richie Ferrer, the sophomore center fielder, had a double in his first appearance, hitting the ball well tonight, going another single after that appearance, and then finishing the day with 2 strikeouts. Mikey Teasley, number 3, the third baseman, had a single to start off his day. A 2 RBI single in his second appearance, and then in his third appearance, he had another 2 RBIs with a double this time around, and then a stolen base on to third, and then a single, and then another stolen base for Mikey in his final appearance for the Wildcats tonight. Camden Welch went 1 for 2 tonight. 1 for 3. Correct, 1 for 3. Sorry about that. The wind is blowing my notes away. A strikeout his first appearance, an RBI single for him, and then a walk on his third appearance. Catcher Kyron Welch, batting 6th tonight, had a walk in his first appearance as Truett Tex picked him up at the pinch hitter the second time around. Truett Tex struck out, but then back to Kyron Welch in his third appearance. He had a grounder out to third base for an out, and then finally his final appearance tonight for the single. Jason Slay finished the day with a sac fly in his first appearance, and then a walk on his third appearance, and then a fly out into right field for his final appearance for the Wildcats. Truett Tex was another pinch hitter, as I mentioned before, striking out in his only appearance tonight for the Wildcats. Riley Rehill was a pinch hitter for Kyron Welch as well, striking out in his only appearance for the night. John Ulrich, in his first appearance this season for the Wildcats, pitched the game, finishing the game, and getting a walk in his plate appearance at the plate. David?
You'll finish that out for me here, my tweet there. We're waiting to speak to the head coach of the Oak Ridge High School Wildcats, Coach Travis Free, and he typically brings some players up to talk to me. We'll see if he does that. Oak Ridge wins it 14-2, so the Wildcats do sweep the season series, winning yesterday 5-1 at Bobby Hopkins and winning today 14-2. Jacob Franklin with the win here today for the Wildcats. And here he comes. He's going to bring, looks like, Jacob Franklin and Mikey Teasley up to speak to me. So if you'll swing the camera around for me, we'll do it this way. We'll let them sit here. So I got players here. Yes. Doesn't matter. Jacob, we'll talk to you first. You take a seat here. We're going to go with one mic here. We'll swing the camera around on Jacob here. Jacob Franklin, he is the winning pitcher in the ball game as they swing the camera around. Jacob, first off, congratulations. I know after your arm injury a year ago, you had to feel good to get back out on the hill in a varsity ball game. Talk about your performance tonight.
Yeah, I did exactly what I wanted to do, which was pelt that outside corner. I was giving it all the entire game, and my arm felt good the entire game. It was nice to go out there and know that I was going to have no discrepancies or nothing that was going to happen with my arm.
Talk about your injury. I know you missed all of summer ball a year ago, so you had to rehab just to get ready for this one. You have an unusual style of throwing. You're a little three-quarters, maybe even a little sidearm for sure. Talk about your style, where you got that from, and is your arm feeling good?
Yeah, so my pitching style kind of came from my sophomore freshman year. Is I was playing shortstop, and I would always on the backhand I would throw kind of sidearm back to second, and then Coach Free kind of came up to me and was like, well, let's try this on the mound, because I wasn't very effective going overhand. So once I started picking that up, it's just over the years kind of gradually gotten better. And then my arm, it's been through a lot of rehab. I mean, I was in rehab for probably 4, 5, 6 months just at a time, and then I'm finally was done with rehab in the last month. So.
Well, let's talk about the team. I know Coach Free came out there, and it looked like he was going to pull you. Did you talk him into keeping you in the ballgame?
No, the first kind of mound was just to get John starting to warm up, and it was just kind of the conversation, kind of little light-minded, just kind of going out there, hey, just throw strikes. I don't really want to pull you. So it's just how it went for the first mound.
Let me ask you about this team. You're now 2-0. You've played Anderson County. No hitter last night, only 2 runs tonight, so 3 runs in 2 games. How good can this team be?
This team could be great if we just live up to our potential and we just keep swinging the bat a little bit better. I mean, we're at the early stages of it, like Coach Free has said before. Our pitching is going to look great. It's going to keep looking better. And it's just if we can keep going with this momentum, we're going to be great this year.
Jacob, I appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way. Well, I think we're talking to you on the TV tomorrow.
Yes, sir, you are, with me and Slay.
Okay, that's Jacob Franklin. Who's next here? We'll look like Mikey Teasley in here. Mikey is a freshman member of the Oak Ridge High School Wildcats. Mikey, first off, congratulations. It's very rare at Oak Ridge High School if we have freshmen play, and you get a chance to play quite a bit. And talk about this win today. You hit the ball extremely well in the first game. Can't remember. You didn't get much going on batting-wise, but today you knocked in a few runs. Talk about your day.
It was just I started in BP. Coach Mavericks told me to change my approach, and that's what I did. I just stayed up the middle instead of pulling the ball every time, and that's just all that he told me to just, when I'm warming up, time them up, and I'll be good, and that's what I did.
You know, you're a freshman. I talked about that. You've played a lot of travel ball, so you've played some great competition, but do you get nervous? Are you nervous at all playing at the varsity level as a freshman?
Not really, because I face the top prospects in the country, and it just comes easy. It's just baseball at this point.
You played third today. You'll see some action pitching. Obviously, I don't know what you prefer. You're known as a highly rated pitcher. Talk about your game and your prospects. You think your prospects for the season are this year for the team?
Well, we got mostly. I mean, we don't really have any. It's just I'm competing with other people at this point. I mean, I'm competing with Tyler and Jacob to go with that, to be the ace, and then I'm competing with other teams to be the best in Tennessee I can be, and that's really it.
So what about the team? How far do you think this team can go?
I mean, I think we can make it a state and win it.
Mikey, I appreciate your time, and we'll talk to you more, I'm sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mikey Teasley. John, are you coming in here? It looks like John Ulrich's coming in here. He came in relief of Jacob, and First 2 guys you struck out, made us a little nervous there in the first 3 guys, was it? Yeah, so made us a little nervous there. Got a couple on there, but talk about your performance tonight.
I'm just super happy to get out and get after those guys again because for anybody who was following us last year, they roughed me up. I didn't get a single out in my start against them here. So it just felt so good to go out there, strike out the first 3 guys, and just get right back after it against them.
Coach was talking to me on the TV show last week about your development between this year and last year. What have you done differently, or what do you see that has improved your game?
Oh, there's so many things mechanically for pitching wise. It's just one of the big things is right before I throw my pitch, my arms get all tensed up, and it just doesn't feel right. And then a lot of times I miss high when I do that. Then we found a way I just relaxed my arms more, kept them inside my body, and that's helping out a lot. And then something I was getting stuck at the top of my leg kick, and I was just getting stuck. And then what we fixed is, as you saw tonight, I was starting with my left leg much further out, and that's just helped me be really quick on my feet and just get down the mound fast and just punch some guys out.
Let me ask you this, and I know Coach Freed won't answer it this way, but does this cold affect you when you're out here? Because are you more cold just sitting here talking to me, or were you cold when you were out there on the hill?
I'm much colder just sitting here, but really I'm from the north. It doesn't affect me all too bad. I just got to keep myself warm early on, and then I'll be fine the rest of the night. So I trooped it out against OS last year. I think it was 32 degrees in that game. So that was – man, I love the game. It's great.
Well, the bad news for me is you won't be able to do camera for me anymore since you're performing, though. But I appreciate it. Good luck the rest of the way here, and hopefully we'll talk to you again.
Thank you very much. Have a nice night.
John Lowerker, let's get the head coach of the Wildcats in here. I think he's next, Coach Free is in here. Coach, thanks for bringing those guys up here. Really good night. Let's start from the beginning. You jumped on them early. I think 4 runs. I think you had 4 innings where you had 3 or more runs that you scored. What happened in the second inning? You got shut out of that inning. Just kidding, though. But I thought Jacob was gutsy. I mean, he doesn't throw with a lot of velocity, but he hits the spots well. He keeps them off balance. That arm angle, I think, is difficult for them. I thought he pitched well, considering he hadn't pitched in a real game in a long time.
He was exactly what I thought he would be today. It was a good mix-up. Tyler, last night we went hard righty. Today we go sidearm righty. Just the way that we're going to be able to pitch people and mix and match in our lineup and how we do those things is going to be a key piece of our success this year, honestly. And then you bring in John, which is, again, is another tall righty. And we had Alex last night that was fabulous, and then we haven't even thrown Mikey yet. I mean, and Cam and Richie and Truitt and all those guys, we haven't even been able to get them on the mound yet. But Jacob was exactly what we thought. He's going to drive the ball on the ground, force our defense to make some plays. He was great.
Last night you kind of struggled early on against their number 1 to hit the ball, and it was a scoreless game, I guess, into about the 4th inning. Tonight, like I said, you jumped on them early, 4 runs in the first inning, took advantage of their wildness a little bit, some walks, got some timely hitting. You stole the bases like you stole several bases the course of the night, like you like to do. You get the defense moving, get things rolling. Got some timely hits and got some good hits by Mikey for sure. And Caden got that. Was that an inside the park home run?
Whatever. I'm not sure what we'll call it, but at least a triple.
Yeah. And you just got some really nice hitting from a lot of different people. And I thought offensively you looked a lot more comfortable. It's cold as all get outside here. And I said, I know how coaches are. They're playing in the cold just as well as you. But I thought you looked more comfortable tonight.
Yeah. And I just got done telling the team that, too. I still don't think we've hit our full stride on offense yet. I think we have a lot more potential in there. We're kind of hitting it in bits and pieces of our lineup. One night somebody's good, one night somebody's off. We still are trying to find our way. But, I told Caden Black, I said, Caden, leadoff walk, we score. I said, I bet if we go back and look over the last 3 years of us together, our winning percentage is over 90% when Caden leads off the game on base and we score in the first. And so he set the table, got us up 1-0 to take some pressure off of us. Last night it was in the 4th, it was 0-0. The pressure started to mount. You started to get a little more tense. Oh, no, we're going to have to do something, start to press. Tonight we took the pressure right off early, and then therefore we were able to kind of pour it on a little bit later and do the things that we like to do. But Mikey had a huge night. I think he was 3 for 3 at least, or 4 for 4 maybe, with 6 RBIs. at the plate today. So a great night for him for sure.
You know, to talk to him, you never know he's a freshman. He's very poised, and I just asked him, dumb announcer question, you get nervous, playing against these guys? No, not really. Basically, it's baseball.
Anybody makes him nervous is me. I mean, I'm probably on him as hard as anybody just to make sure he's doing it right and consistently practicing hard and doing the right things. And so I'm not super worried about him. He does have a great poise about him, and the moment never gets too big for him, which is key, and it's uncharacteristic of a freshman a lot of times.
Coach, we'll talk to you again on the TV tomorrow at 7 o'clock on Channel 12, and we'll also stream it as well. But you got Coalfield coming up, I think, on Thursday. That's a game at Bobby Hopkins Field. You back there again. Is it a 5:30 first pitch?
It's a 6 o'clock start on Thursday night. It's our first Bombers night of the year, so it should be an exciting night. I know that we've we're promoting. We're having some chicken wings and things out there at the ballpark on Thursday, so it should be a fun night out there. It's going to be a little warmer. It's going to be in the 60s actually on that day instead of the 30s, whatever we are now.
Coach, I appreciate it. Just your final comments on the win today.
It was a great team win. Once again, we hit through a lineup. We scored a bunch, and once again, our pitching staff was tremendous once again. And just giving us a chance to allow our offense to kind of take over and put the pressure on them has been really the key so far. And 2-0 feels good. I mean, it feels good that we've been able to take care of business, and we got to get ready to go for Thursday.
Coach, thanks a lot.
Thank you, David.
Travis Free, head coach of the Wildcats. Final score of the ball game, 14-2. The Wildcats victorious. They now go 2-0 on the year here. And Ben, you want to give out some final comments here before we close out our broadcast?
Well, once again, David, as we mentioned, just a great pitching performance all the way through. Jacob Franklin playing really, really well, dealing it well, and then John Ulrich playing really well as well. Hitting-wise, great performance by the Wildcats. I even noticed that when I went down going to use the bathroom, that I saw one of the Wildcats pass me. They were upset because they in their opinion, didn't hit well enough. So great performance by them, and a great motivational win for them as well, to get that series sweep over Anderson County, and just a great performance all the way around.
Ben, I appreciate your work, and Caleb's got the heater already going back in the car back there. That's going to do it here for us from Anderson County High School. Our Wildcats victorious tonight by a final score of 14-2. For Caleb and Ben, this is David Clary. Until next time, saying so long, everybody.